Welcome back to the Stoop, football fans. It's your boy Lolo, and clearly we are not on the stoop. We are in some 60s, 70s, 80s style kitchen that I have been relegated to. But speaking of relegation, it looks like Wolves might be clear of relegation, but we'll see more on that tomorrow when the Premier League continues. Today's Premier League matches were all a bunch of crap, so I would like to move us back a few more days in time to when things were glorious and things were just every Arsenal fan just walking on air, walking on clouds, living the dream. And I'm going to crack.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
I didn't eat anything all day, so I'm going to get drunk on this one beer.
John?
Yes?
Declan Rice had 2.
This is a 16 ounce, so.
Declan Rice had 2, so.
Okay. Cheers to.
Cheers to you, Declan Rice, and cheers to you, West Ham. We still owe you a ton of money because we got him half price. Declan Rice, we got him half price. That's what everybody keeps saying. So, good to see you back, John. Thank you for doing this on a Saturday, and big up to everyone who's joining us here on a Saturday edition. So we'll see. Maybe we get some different people in the comments section. Hopefully we get all the regulars, and I'm seeing Anders, Led Zepp, Scooby D2, Miss Melina, and we've got a great panel of guests coming on tonight. And yes, I am going to be more focused on the Real Madrid Champions League matches from Arsenal than I am about Brentford today, Everton last week. I'm on the same page with my manager here. Let's go. Put all your eggs in one basket. Let's let Liverpool limp across the line and take the league for some reason. But let's keep doing some damage in the Champions League. Nobody thought Arsenal was going to beat Real Madrid that bad. Yes, all the bookies had Arsenal as favorites, which means something. We were slight favorites at home first leg. Probably just to eke out a win, maybe one goal. Nobody was expecting 2 cracking free kicks from Declan Rice. And I want to talk to you guys about this. There's a big debate going on right now of which goal was better. And it's so hard to say because one curls, 10 yards or so around the wall. The other one goes to the side that this 7-foot-tall monster of a keeper, one of the best keepers in the world, is already on that side. And Declan Rice puts it into the top bin, postage stamp right there in the top right corner. Nobody's touching it. Both incredible free kicks. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, just like my children. But deep down, you kind of know, right? For those of you who have children. And then the Mikel Merino goal was also an incredible goal, an incredibly well-hit goal from our non-striking striker, our defensive midfield striker that we have. So craziness going on with all that. We'll get into that. Leeds United somehow last week were like 3rd place. And then something just happens. 2 wins, Burnley with a draw, the Blunts with a draw and a loss, I believe. All of a sudden, Leeds United are back on top. I think somebody was saying they need like 7 points out of 12 to clinch it, something like that. Our Leeds guys will get in here and tell us all about that. So we're going to be riding high, not thinking about the Premier League that happened today because, once again, it was boring and disgusting and gross and, let's just forget about all that. We are talking Leeds United topping the league and Arsenal going into the second leg against Real Madrid with a 3-0 advantage. So let's bring on my lovely co-host here, Mr. Mark. Happy to see you.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to see that you're happy and that you're still riding that high from Wednesday, or rather Tuesday. Rather than the doldrums that have been the last couple of weeks in the Premier League. It's funny because I've been still holding on to hope, or not hope. Hope is a strong word, but I was still in firm belief that the Premier League title was still up for grabs. Liverpool not playing well. Liverpool looking rather disinterested. I think there's a lot of distractions. Salah recently he recently signed a 2-year contract. They're still looking at what Van Dijk is going to do. They'll obviously lose Trent. There's all these distractions. They're not playing well, and it just seemed to be like one of these things where I see, Arsenal could just they could sneak this. They could sneak in there. Not after today.
No, and Mark, it's a weird thing because I feel like had we kept winning, Liverpool don't lose that game that they just lost. Like they may draw tomorrow, but it's because we've stopped putting the pressure on them. I feel like had we kept winning, they may have kept winning. So this may look even closer towards the end,
right,
than it actually is, because they're taking their foot off the gas. Because Arsenal, our last two matches, talk to any Gunner. Yes, we wanted to win those matches. 100% we wanted to win those matches. But the main objective was not injuring any other player and getting Saka healthy.
I think the main objective is no longer to win the Premier League. It's to win the more realistic trophy, and that's the biggest one of all, and that's Absolutely. The Champions League. I do think that given the brackets and given the way that the cream has kind of been sloughed off the top. I mean, some of these matches early on were tough for some individuals. At PSG playing Man City. Who else got eliminated early that was considered a favorite? I don't really know. And by looking at your face there, you don't even care. And I'm not getting.
Everybody brings up PSG, and I'm like, we played them, and everybody was like, "Oh, but that's not real PSG."
I didn't. I know. What I'm getting at is
it's
that
me hearing everybody else.
Right. I don't play into those games much anymore.
Yes, you do. You're so bad about that.
But here's this is where Arsenal is right now. And this is where they should be. And this is what they need to concentrate on, because what a thumb in the eye, what a fly in the ointment, as the year has gone by and people have said that, Arteta's the problem, and this is the problem. They didn't get a striker, and they didn't do this, and they didn't do that, and they're bottlers, and anything negative that you can throw out there for the reason why they didn't do what they haven't won the Premier League, they haven't won this, they haven't won that. No, I put that to bed. That is sitting in a box right next to the Adele story.
Oh my God. But Mark, you're totally right with Arteta, everybody giving Arteta so much stick. And then when me personally as an Arsenal fan have said, yes, he hasn't won a trophy. Let's forget about that FA Cup. Yes, he hasn't won a trophy, but he has turned our culture back around, and it felt like Tuesday was the culmination of that, because walking into a Champions League match against Real Madrid, knockout stage, that stadium could have been nervy and tense. But it was such a raucous environment, and that's part of what he has done, is change the environment as well and bring the fans base back, so that the fans were pushing on the team the entire time. So doing that, it's kind of like all the hard work he's done with the players, as well as all the work that he's done with the fans, led to that match.
Right. I also think that what we have here is this ends up being the biggest thumb in the eye, is that, everyone, Arteta just can't get the job done. Arteta this, Arteta that. He might not be the guy. He's not creative enough. He's not any of these things. But then yet he goes on to win, or possibly goes on to win the biggest trophy of them all. And that's going to be amazing if it happens. And 3-0 on Real Madrid is most certainly a good start. I think we're seeing who is really the cream of the crop. Inter's still in it. A lot of people have picked Inter to win it all, saying that this is just a tremendous year. I'm not quite convinced. I think it's Barcelona myself, but
Yeah.
3-0 to up on Real with the game to go. Now you guys got a tough one, and it's not one of those things where you are going to say, "Whoa, no way, Real is going to score 3 on us at their home stadium." No, that's an easy get, but
Hey, Lolo, what team does Mark think's going to win?
Barcelona.
There you
He
go.
believes this year is Barcelona's.
God damn it! I slipped into that one, didn't I?
So, Mark, we'll talk a lot more about Arsenal, but just to finish off with this, and it's something that, of course, I was surprised to see Mo Master on the show. I thought he would go into Naji mode and start hiding out. But of course, Mo Master comes on and says Arsenal were very lucky with 2 free kick goals. Even without those, we win 1-0. So then, if your keeper wasn't having one of the games of his life, it's 7-0. So call those 2 free kicks lucky all you want, but football players around the world are not calling those lucky. They're calling those fucking spot on, dead ass bangers. So call us lucky.
Definitely bangers. Yeah. I honestly think that there is, for something like that to happen once, let alone twice, there is a little bit of luck involved. You have to be like so dead on perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah. I've watched it as many times as anybody has, and except for you. Both the goals, we should have had they should have had an extra man on the wall. Bullshit.
Then put them.
Those goals were picture perfect. Yeah. And I'm gonna be one as a I like Arsenal, sure. And a lot of that has to do with my friends that enjoy Arsenal. Was there a quality of luck involved? Absolutely. But I think more important for me is the play right now at the perfect time is the play of Declan Rice.
Yep.
Over the last, he's been with the team 2 years. This is his second year.
Yeah.
Up until a few weeks ago, Declan Rice's play has been expected. This is what I expect from Declan Rice. What I've been waiting for is the unexpected. And what he's been doing has been nothing short of incredible, outstanding, astounding, however you want to put it. And it carried over today. I mean, yeah, the goal that they scored against Brentford from goalie to goal, the outlet pass, the little bowl that Rhea did to Declan Rice. Yeah. Declan Rice takes it nearly 3/4 of the pitch, lays on a perfect pass to Partey, and thank God Partey finished the job, because I would have been so angry. So angry for Arsenal had they not finished that. It was absolutely incredible. So I guess what I'm getting at is it's about time that Declan Rice is living up to and exceeding that $100 million mark in my mind.
Well, and
I'm
Mark,
happy for it because it's coming at the perfect time.
And Mark, talk to a lot of the football pundits and people out there as well. We're saying that, take away those 2 free kicks, and Declan Rice still probably had a man of the match performance. His performance, he was all over the place. He had 2 shots on goal. Besides that, he had a tap in that he just didn't get to. But his midfield work was absolutely incredible. They had nothing going on in the midfield.
Completely agree with you, but there were 2 other standouts for me. One being Raya. He had some amazing saves.
Made some saves. Yep.
But I think for me, more importantly, was all the chatter, including for myself, saying that, Arsenal is in trouble. They lose Mega
Partey
Legs,
as well,
and they
maybe.
got to throw Kiwior in there. And Kiwior playing against Mbappe. What a mismatch! Mbappe's going to score a hat trick. Kiwior held his
Kiwior was
own.
very
And
good.
just based on that, I mean, I might say Kiwior would be my man of the match because expectations were so low, and he rose way above.
Yeah. Momaster says Arsenal is nothing compared to Real Madrid. That's why everyone played the game of their life. There is something to be said of that. And it's not just Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid in a Champions League knockout, quarterfinal, at home, all those elements, which is what I'm saying about the culture of Arsenal. A few years ago, they'd have gone into that match scared. The entire Emirates would have been the Highbury Library again, like just sitting, biting their fingernails the whole time. So I think I think they did play the game. A lot of them played the game of their lives, and they're going to need to do it again. I'm right there with you. BX saying Scooby D2 as well. It definitely ain't over yet. It's only halftime. BX says if anyone can come back, it's Real. Absolutely. We cannot go in and sit back and let them attack the entire game, because the only way we won that game was by controlling every aspect of the pitch. And then those probably 3 times that they broke free and we were in danger, we came up with individual moments of brilliance. You can't do that when you're sitting back. When you're sitting back, it's the entire team that needs to be constantly on the same page. And that's where we don't play that game. That's not our game. We will lose that game. They will score 2 in the first half, and then we will play nervous for 45 minutes and end up losing it.
Right.
So,
and I mean, there's a
Mark,
lot.
We got to bring some people in here. They're all leaving the show.
I'm going to be real brief here, which I know is really hard for me to do. But what I'm going to say is that yes, as far as what everybody's saying, we're only halftime. We have another match to play, and there was a certain cautionary play with Real Madrid that they have to abandon, and they will play with absolute abandon on this coming week. It's going to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and bring on, sorry for the 20 minutes of Arsenal talk there, but there's going to be more. So let's bring on our Leeds contingent. They're all down here ready to go, raring to go today. We got David, Mr. Tom, and Ben Ireland. Very good to see you again. It's been only about a year or so since you've done a happy hour that me and Mark are on. When it's Tom, you always join.
I did one about 3 weeks ago.
He was on 3 weeks ago.
I wasn't there.
You was there. It got taken off because you played the bandy video at half time.
I did. I don't remember that. No, that's not true. If only we had it on video.
I'll give you that.
If only we had it on video.
If only it was on video or on the internet somewhere for us to check. But David, you look totally excited. You look like you're just beaming in first place there, trying not to fall asleep.
I just wanted to correct you on one thing about Tuesday night. Superb performance by Arsenal. Well done. Halfway there. But the most important goal that night was Dan James. That was the most important goal of Tuesday night. That's it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first goal for Arsenal was pretty important, but I'll give you that. You guys turned around the season that was going to crap in quickly, turned it around, and then you got lucky. Didn't Burnley draw that on Tuesday as well, or something like something happened where right away?
It's not luck. It's not luck. I mean, you make your own luck. The reason
that's the most important goal is because inevitably that goal will contribute to us winning the league, whereas your 3 goals will contribute to you getting knocked out by Rafinha in the next round.
They won't play Rafinha in the next round.
Wait, Rafinha's in the next round?
They'll play them in the final, I think, won't they? Wasn't it all geared up?
That's the only way they would play Barcelona.
We have to make it to the final, and Barcelona have to make it to the final. Barcelona, listen, Mark is right. Barcelona look fucking damn good. But Borussia Dortmund, I'm sorry, they are not Inter Milan. and they are not Bayern Munich. And those are the two teams. One of those two teams is who they're going to have to face next. And I'm sorry, it's not going to be as easy. They still might make it to the final, but it's not going to be as easy as Dortmund. And if Arsenal get through and have to play PSG or Aston Villa, it's not going to be as easy as Real Madrid.
I think Villa will turn that.
That's for you, Mo Master.
I do. I
Now
think
face
Villa will win that.
I don't want to see Villa in the next round. If we go through, I do not want to see Villa in the next round.
It's different. Football.
I'm telling you, give us PSG. Do not want Unai Emery. Oh my God, the Arteta outers.
Isn't it?
If we lose to Aston Villa in the semi-finals of the Champions League, the Arteta outers win. They all win.
It could be. You've got to think that Villa have got the pedigree of having won the tournament once before, albeit in its previous form as the European Cup. But they are winners.
Yeah.
They're winners.
I don't know. Didn't Asensio miss 2 penalties today?
Yeah, shocking. That was shocking.
Ramsdale, the only keeper, he's probably man of the match for saving 2 penalties, and they still lost 3-0. That was like Courtois for me. Courtois was man of the match for Real Madrid.
Superb. Yeah, he was superb.
He was man of the match.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And gave up 3 goals. What's up, Lawrence? How are you, my friend?
Hey,
Good. Hey, how's everybody doing? Good Saturday instead of Friday. Good Saturday.
Lawrence looks very angelic with the halo behind them.
Oh, son, I have to shut the window. Sorry, I'll shut the window.
Wait, no, you have sun?
It's been raining so much. It's been crazy having the sun now.
It's been raining here for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I had an offhanded comment that people are now calling out, and I'm just gonna say I hear what you guys are saying. Daniel, I understand. He says Lolo, you beat a PSG without the K guy.
Kvashila?
Fuck, I had it the other day.
Tom,
do
you know the name?
Varakelia. And
then Chris, this is the best PSG I've seen. Absolutely. They are a very different team than when Arsenal played them earlier in the season. Cravadonna, there you go. Kvaradonna. Basically, that dude is fucking incredible to watch. That guy, it bugs me that he's on PSG because it felt like when he was playing for Napoli, you could actually root for him because Napoli aren't PSG.
Yeah.
Can I just give a big up Tom anyway, because this is going to be his second dose of Arsenal today. That takes some doing.
Oh, you were with Gary earlier today, right? Big up, Gary.
Oh, Lord.
But listen, we will talk Leeds United, and we can switch that over. You might want to switch it over before Lawrence starts bringing up West Ham. So, or the
Honestly, I want to see, right? Because we had to endure each other last week, me and Tom, and it was painful. Not because of each other, but because of the moods we were in. And I just want to know how different is your mood this weekend, Tom?
It's very. I know people expect me to be like I'm either going to be on top of the world or the opposite.
Oh.
It's a very mixed bag because obviously my father's not very well. So.
Oh, sorry to hear about that, Tom. Sorry, Tom.
It was I don't know the right way to word it.
Get well soon, Senior Ross.
Ended up watching the football with him, which was quite nice. Which it's not usually because he's a fucking nightmare to watch football with, in all truth. But I thought that was quite nice. He's the sort of fan that if you miss part, he'll spend all week going, we're gonna win on Saturday, and then when the first pass is misplaced in the game, it's like fucking hell, we're not playing well. So I know I came out of your balls, but shut the fuck up.
I swear to God, I love Pepsi lips.
Oh, we still doing that old joke? Fucking hell.
Tom, I love you, man. I'm just saying it's Pepsi lips. It's a good joke.
I found it so humorous that I figured that would be the name of like some Northern European rock band that is on whatever that Euro program is.
Eurovision. Thank you
Eurovision.
very much for this opportunity. We are Pepsi Lips.
Ladies and
This
gentlemen,
is a
put it
song.
together for
Crack me open.
Pepsi Lips.
Willkommen. Yes, we are Pepsi Lips. I don't know why the German
It came out, but I think it's brilliant. It's our respect, Tom. And I hope,
I gotta say, I don't know what Pepsi Lips is. Like, I've
That's
heard a lot of.
We did it last week because Tom has a tendency of grabbing a 2-liter Pepsi bottle and sucks it down like a champ, and then John did that. So we created Pepsi Lips.
Tom, I've just sent you some for tomorrow.
It was all in fun.
I think it's fair to say, as far as Leeds go, it's amazing what a week can do. And to be honest, I mean, we dropped to third last week, but I mean, we did say last week that, Tom, you said that they'll drop points and everything, and hopefully we'll bounce back. And I think you also said on that show that playing against Middlesbrough, because they're the sort of team that will come out and play football and try and win a game, that we actually played better and we had a better chance. And so
what was the final
I
score
say-
today? It was 2-1 when I left. I'm sorry, because I had to go. It was 2-1.
Yeah, it was 2-1.
It was the final? 2-1 final?
2-1. It should have been about 6-1, to be honest, but there you go. If you don't finish the chances. But
I was
it was comfortable.
I was shocked.
That was just 6-1 to Pirro, it should have been.
I was shocked you guys gave up a goal against those guys.
He would have called it.
Listen.
I think
He took their goal. He took their goal well. He sold Firpo all over, which I don't like to say because I love Junior.
Yeah.
But we don't pay Junior to defend. It's as simple as that.
He was a bit isolated as well, to be honest, wasn't he? There was no defence at all.
You're going to get that with Solomon, though, are you? But I'm not knocking Solomon today. He was
no, but I'm talking more about the central defenders. They were nowhere to be seen. And when you've got the guy, he's trying to show him down the line, but he's going to cut inside because there's a massive hole because neither of the central defenders were anywhere to be seen. So it's as much on them as it is on Junior, to be quite honest, from a tactical viewpoint. But I'll tell you what I did like was the Darlow today, apart from the punch outside the box, and he wasn't well outside the box.
He was spot
on. I mean, he was collecting the ball in the edge.
Look, I totally agree with you.
Wonderful.
I totally agree with you, but isn't that what we should expect anyway?
It is, but it just shows you what dross we've had to put up with for the last year. And Mark, I know that we've had this conversation a lot, but this is how low our standards are now. That when our goalkeeper catches it from a corner, we are thrilled.
I cannot believe Meslier is on the bench.
Fair enough. I mean,
no. Are you shocked by that, Ben? Are you really?
Yeah,
are you shocked?
I really am. He shouldn't be nowhere near that. I wouldn't even put him in under 18s.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, fair shout.
And they got beat 13-1.
I think for me is that for me,
good shout.
I've always thought Meslier to be a bit of quality, and when I look at the stats, obviously I don't watch enough this season of Meslier. And I definitely looked at the stats and whatnot, but when in retrospect, he plays like someone that just doesn't want to be with Leeds. I think he would do very well with a change of scenery. I don't know, does he go to Lille? Does he go back home? Does he go back to France? Who knows? I don't expect him to be with the team. I think he's sold.
He'll be sold.
I would like to ask a little sidebar because we mentioned Junior Firpo. Is there any truth to the rumor that's going around that he might be in trouble for betting on matches?
That's Tom's department. Anything Firpo.
That was
anything betting.
He was watching betting in the dark. There's no crime in that.
Has he been in the shop?
What I've
He
heard is
lost
that
every single bet. He shouldn't get punished for that. He lost every fucking bet.
it's
It's
not
not
football
even been betting
related
on
bets,
football.
apparently.
Yeah, it's just a load of crap. It's just
Today's
gonna
be in Italy.
Today's betting in the
Gotcha.
dark is going to be different. We're going to win.
But yeah,
Carl
I mean,
Darlow, is Darlow on loan or did you guys buy him?
No,
No,
they got.
he's
He bought him last
He's
year.
bought
paid
him.
for, yeah.
Did
Yeah,
Yeah.
last year.
Was he a few $100,000, I think?
Guys
Yeah,
bought
not
him
a lot.
on in January, right?
he? Shocker.
Last January.
No, we got him
January.
No,
beginning
ago,
of
I would
season. We got him beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He was bought because we were initially selling Melier. He was brought in as his replacement, but obviously no one bid for Melier. So
Yeah.
fuck, I thought, we'll stick you in goal.
Quick goalkeeper side note. I would like to place a bet, Mr. Tom. Maybe you can help me with this. I would like to place a bet that Aaron Ramsdale will be the starting goalkeeper for Manchester United next season.
Ooh.
That depends how badly they want to get relegated.
No.
Which team?
Manchester United.
So you're saying Nana? You saying Mr. Tom Nana's the answer?
Onana he's
Not
got to
the
be
answer.
done, man. He's got to
He
be
is
done.
so-
The amount of mistakes. No, you guys are sitting here talking about.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You guys are sitting here talking about the standards of Leeds United had dropped so low for goalkeeper, where you just want a keeper who can catch it. And I'm like, didn't I just hear you guys talking about this? But it was another podcast that I was listening to with all Manchester United fans talking about Onana. And they're like, we just want someone who can catch the ball, who
I
can.
get that.
And you know what? That's what it was, Lolo. When he first came on, he was dynamic. He was a saver. He did all the things. But then once he got into the pitch and he played, he's been really tons of mistakes.
But
guy.
you remember
So-
the only reason.
So inconsistent.
The only
I'm
reason
sorry.
he went to Manchester United was who was he with last season? He was with somebody in the Champions League, like Napoli or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh my God, this keeper is playing
great, yeah.
all the way forward. He's playing the ball out. This
Yeah.
is an incredible."
Aggressive. He was an aggressive
And
keeper.
that's what they bought him for. And then
Okay.
immediately, like one of the first games, he gets chipped from 50 yards out.
I remember that.
The next game, he has a little, like, 2 corner kicks have gone directly in off of his hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not what you bought him for. You bought him because he's good with his feet. He's a horrible keeper, but he's a good keeper with his feet and getting and distributing. You need someone who can stop. Anyway, it just reminded me. I know you guys don't like being
shout.
linked with Manchester United ever. These are just very similar goalkeeping situations that you're in right now, and they don't have Darlow on the bench. Like, they would be lucky to have Darlow. Like, Darlow's a great.
Can I just answer
like Darlow.
Anthony?
I like
Anthony, who says that Ramsdale will be at West Ham next year. Good luck
Who?
on your relegation. Good
No,
luck on your
no
relegation.
team who's
That's
close
what
to
he does. He
relegation
gets
could
he
get
gets
Ramsdale.
relegated with teams. That's what he does.
Yes, he
He took
does.
us to second place. He took us to second place. So
Have a good night, everyone.
Did he?
And that
Hey,
was
you
the
leaving?
pinnacle of
Tom,
his
you
career.
leaving? Pepsi Lips, you leaving? Tom,
where you going,
leaving?
Tom?
I want you to say, Tom. Pepsi Lips. Nice
No?
one,
Right, man.
nah,
I think he's frozen.
he can't.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Tom's
man.
just tired.
He's probably tired again.
Tom's tired.
He's done a lot of YouTube, man. It's stressful.
Yeah, probably too
Yeah,
much.
thanks for popping on. Is there anything you want to say before you go about your
Well,
club or anything?
He was dealing with Arsenal today with Gary, so that'll
Yeah,
fucking
Oh,
wipe you out.
that'll kill you. That'll kill you. That'll shoot yourself in the head.
Thomas.
Tom can't.
Tom,
Tom,
may I ask a question?
Will I
before
get to
you-
answer it? Will I get to answer it if you ask it? Of course I won't.
Yes.
'Cause everyone fucking
I hope
loves
so.
golf.
I hope so. You guys, I feel Leeds will be promoted. I don't think they will go to the playoffs. My question is what are the 3 most important positions that you think need addressing in the offseason for you guys to be successful in the Premier League? I know it's tough.
I don't. Luck, money, and Junior Firpo to get given a contract. I don't know the answer to that question in all seriousness. But he's got the world's greatest moustache. They should just let him.
He
bet
does
on
have the world's greatest
Right.
mustache. I would put it a close.
Can I redirect
I would
that
put,
question?
I would put Lolo's mustache a quick second, and maybe your own for a quick third.
Can I tweak that question for you? Which players would you keep?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I feel bad saying this, but I think one of our best players today was quite obviously Jaden Bogle, based on the fact that he scored a winning goal, and he's been very good all season. But I would immediately buy right back upon promotion because I've seen nothing from him at Premier League level that suggests he will be anything other than a fucking disaster.
Would you keep him for backup?
I'd keep him for in case we got relegated. Need to put him back in again. Because he's in the Championship, he's a defensive Lionel Messi. In the Premier League, he's Mr. Bean.
Fair shout. Yeah.
It's the same on the other side, though.
Pepsi Lips tells
Exactly
us
the
how
same
it is.
on the other side, to be fair. That fucking Junior Firpo at Premier League level. Although he did score some goals, and I quite enjoyed getting the text, like taking the credit for it, like I actually had any say in scoring goals, which I didn't, but still. Oh, thank you, Anthony Herbert, for gifting me Tommy Asu. Thank you for that. What should I have him do?
Clean out your dungeon.
I don't mind Tomiyasu. I think he's had a rough season with injury, but you know, he produced last year
because he's a defender, but still.
Yeah, he's not a bad defender.
Who would you keep then, Tom? Out of that 11 or the squad, who would you keep?
I don't see the obvious one. You have to keep Daniel James, and I know he wasn't great in the Premier League for us, but he's quite clearly developed into a bit of a sharpshooter. That may not translate to Premier League. It's irrelevant. Fact of the matter is, when you've got a player with the speed of Daniel James, you have to have a job for him. You just teach him how to kick the ball.
He did all right with Fulham.
Yeah.
He didn't do bad with Fulham. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't lighting the world up, but he was doing better with Fulham than fucking Harrison was doing with us.
That was another mistake on our part. Oh, we made a fucking slew of them, don't you worry. But of course you're not going to worry. Why's anyone going to worry?
Do you fear Easter at all?
Yes. Because it's Leeds United around Easter eggs. We just fucking don't like them. I did make a new character called Dr. Sheffield United, but it's not as funny. It doesn't translate as nearly as well as the Dr. Leeds joke.
What about Dr. Blades?
That would have worked a lot better.
Dr. Blunts.
Dr. Blunt is a guy who lives around the corner from me.
I'm sure.
Let me find the comment. It was a fair question. It was basically like, have Leeds got money to spend? To which, to me, the real answer to that is find out in August when the transfer window's over.
We don't actually know what's available to us, do we? Like through investment, through we don't know. Obviously, there's going to be money from being promoted, the Premier League money, but we've still got quite a bit of transfer fees to lay out for the likes of the shite that we signed.
Yeah, but we also got in 80 million, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which will go into this year's lot.
We should have some money to spend, in my opinion.
I think you'll find that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you'll find Red Bull, 49ers will be spending a lot of money.
It's not what you spend; it's how you spend it. In it, let's be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good shout, Ben.
I mean, you could spend 200 million on Brendan Aronson, and ultimately you're still getting Brendan Aronson
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we spent
I
what Villa spent.
don't think he's
Yeah.
one that I
Really
would
is
keep.
his ability. Really?
Oh,
You
I'd
know.
keep him. I'd keep
Yeah.
him. Yep.
For
Right.
me, the players that come to mind is, Nonto, Tanaka.
Nato's one.
Who
I think the
else?
club does Brendan Aronson dirty personally. Because basically every
Ampadu.
position has an equal. Every position has someone who basically, if you get injured, here's who's going to replace you.
And you know what,
The club
Mr.
made a
Tom,
conscious
and I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's a sign of a good squad because you can't be a one-man down. You need to have a squad that if a person goes down, you have a quality person to replace that, and that's
Yeah, but
quality.
he's saying that that's the one position that we don't have a
That you don't
replacement.
have. No, good point. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Goes down, there was no
Yeah,
one, and
good
people
show.
just say,
But technically, Aronson's not a 10.
No, 10.
No, he's not.
Of course, but
Hmm.
it just felt like they've basically put him in a situation where he's going to work hard. I'm never going to dispute that he works hard, but they've basically put him in this situation where it's like, you will play. If you don't play well, you will play, and it will be very much a case of
You're a constant deer in the headlights of the fans. I get what you're saying.
I got you. Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry to disagree with you guys, but you need to re-watch the game today and just watch Brendan Harrison. Don't watch anybody else. Just watch him. You see what he does.
I do
He
see
laid,
what he does.
He,
but
laid
my
three
problem with him.
three chances on a plate today for other players, and they all
That's
fucked
today.
it up.
That's
And
today.
he does
usually.
it most. He does it most games. He'll
about
do it at least once or twice a
his
game.
pass is always
Yes,
off.
he does,
For
Ben.
me.
That's why
No.
he's
what
got
about
the.
9 games where he did
He
nothing?
has the highest expected goals from passes of anyone in the team, and that's why he has that stat. You
I
need
see a
to.
different. No. Look, I'll agree to disagree. I see a different
Well,
side.
you can't disagree with the stats, Ben, because
I
the
just see
stats
that.
actually
I just see that 9
prove
times
the
out of 10,
point.
when he's got the ball at his feet, that move breaks down.
Looking at the
9 times
roster,
out of 10.
who's this guy, Patrick Bamford?
That's
Born again.
Lord Patrick Bamford.
Do you know what Gary called him earlier? And it kind of in my mind was like, yeah, that's a new name. He called him Scamford.
Patrick Stamford. Okay.
Scamford.
Spamford is in Wolverhampton.
I tell you what, I tell you what, he'll do a job for us till the end of the season, though.
He will, and look, I don't dislike
Middlesbrough,
Bamford, but look,
he came on and did a job,
he's missed
didn't he?
some sitters, right? We've all been pissed off with Bamford, but I look at Bamford, right, and he's done us a service while he's been here. The only issue I have with Bamford, and look, it's not his fault, is his injury record.
Yeah.
And he's on a lot of money to be injured a lot of the time. I'm not saying he wants to be injured, but look, if he's come out hungry like he seems to be, then he's only going to be an asset to us.
Yeah,
he might as well earn his money while he's here rather than not.
Yeah, I mean, he scored a perfect goal the other night against Borough. Which got chalked off. Yeah, perfect. He played really well, and today he came on and he made a nuisance of himself, which is all we really expected him to do in the few minutes that he got on.
His runs are intelligent. I've got absolutely no problem with Aronson's off the ball work whatsoever. It's just his on the ball work to me is a bit sketchy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but to say the stats don't quite back that up, and also in the box he makes them sometimes. I'm not saying all the time because he doesn't. I'll be the first one to admit that. But when you say he's not a number 10, he is a number 10 in the system that Fart wants.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that
who moves about all the time.
Out of everybody that we've tried there, he's been the better option. I don't know.
Why are we even discussing this though? Like, because ultimately, just get David and wheel out his lead stats, and we'll just go, that's fucking football, and then fuck off to bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Bother?
Well, I would like to go back to the Dan James conversation and just say that it's been very interesting to watch this Dan James transition. He's transitioning, if you will, into a different type of Marianne Cotillard. But when he first came over to Leeds United, he still had the stink of Manchester United on him. He came to another Premier League club, a lower in the table Premier League club, and he had this arrogance of, oh, I was just starting for Manchester United. Let me help you guys out a little bit. And he didn't really get it going. He wasn't lighting it all up. And then he goes on and gets loaned out. Once again, doesn't light it all up. So it's almost like he's re-welcomed back to Leeds United and go, hey, if you want to turn your career back around, you got to dig it out in the championship. So like the comment here that somebody said, James was Daniel James proven in the championship, but a flop in the Premier League. It's tough because he was young and at such a horrible club with a horrible mindset that it sort of ruined him in the Premier League. He went to the championship and he sort of found himself. He's found the player that he needs to be successful. And so now I think coming back to the Premier League, if it happens, I think you're going to have a very different Dan James, and he is going to be one of the most important players for you because he has played so much Premier League, yet he's been humbled and had to do the hard work and put in the hard hours. Now he's a different player. How does that sound, Tom?
Sounds fair. I do think it's fair to say he's a former Premier League flop. I think that's absolutely fair. People will say, maybe Tom, that's not really fair of you to say because he did really well at Fulham. I was like, Fulham
He didn't, though.
turn around and go. Fulham then didn't turn around and go, we'll fucking take up an option to buy him off you. So
because he didn't do. Well. He did okay. He did okay at Fulham.
But I just think. I don't know what to think on this actually. David, what's the XG stats on Daniel James, basically? Like, what am I allowed to think?
Tom, you're having a go, but when you're talking about Harrison, you're talking out your Harrison. You know, that's all. Well, let's leave it there. We have to agree to disagree, son.
Okay, Dad. But fine. I think ultimately, and I've already forgot what the fucking question is at this point. So
Daniel James.
Daniel James. Oh, that fucker. He's gonna no. In all seriousness, he'd be a very important player in the Premier League because again, you've always got an advantage as a footballer if you're a fast footballer, especially in the Premier League because it's primarily athleticism that gets the leg up on someone else. Because everyone's fast in the Premier League, but he is exceptionally fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Man United.
There's not going to be many people on a list of Premier League players that can outrun Daniel James in a 20-yard foot race.
Yeah, but I feel like Man United just replaced him with Garnacho, who is the exact same player, but on a shit club now. So he's falling to the wayside. He's not being called up for Argentina anymore.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone back to college or something. Like, given his age, he's like he can actually make something for his life at this point.
Yeah, go be a barber.
Right. So
Manchester United.
So y'all brought it out there just how fast Daniel James is. I personally think that there's an ex-Leeds player who's fast as fuck, and every time I see him run down the pitch, I'm like, who is that? That guy's fast. And it always comes at me. So I'm just going to ask you, who would win in that foot race that Mr. Tom was talking about? Daniel James or Jack Harrison?
Daniel James, the speed.
Fair enough.
That speed, yeah.
But the couple of matches that I've seen Everton and see Jack Harrison play. I've just always remarked to myself, who is that guy? He's so fucking fast. Oh my God, it's Jack Harrison.
He had a good game today.
Yes, he
Very
did.
good game.
Yes,
And I think
he
his
did.
last game was a good game as well. Not
Yeah.
as good, but I think he's working hard to try and get a contract at Everton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Or maybe to increase his value and get sold somewhere else. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Tom's
He
like,
won't come
yeah,
back to
he's
Leeds.
no longer with Leeds. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Give a fuck, yeah. That's about the
And that's
summary of it.
fair. I mean, at least you don't have somebody on the team that you don't give a fuck about, and like all this buzz and bullshit about
We do.
Cunha for
We do.
Wolves. I do not give two shits about that man anymore. He has spent 6-7 games suspended for us this season. Go get the fuck out of here. Let's just hope we get a decent price for him.
And imagine if he wouldn't have been, you guys would be like what, 14th in the table?
I who knows? Who knows? But you know what we would be? We would still be in the FA Cup. Because that guy cost us our spot. We would be in the semifinals of the FA Cup. We would have beat Bournemouth that day. And I'll die on that hill. That man cost us. You know? Done with that guy.
He also single-handedly got you like probably 15 points of your 32.
We got 10 of 12 without him during this latest suspension. So, you know, he's a guy that demands the ball. He's a fucking head case. And his latest one where he's getting slagged by the fans, he turns around and goes, oh, I'm going to follow my dreams and not yours. It's like, fuck you, dude. Sit the fuck down. Just because you're not starting. Sit the fuck down. If I'm Pereira, he doesn't even make my bench for the rest of the season. Done with that guy.
Absolutely right there, John. What was you going to say?
I was like, wait, who's John?
What was you? Yeah.
What did John say?
Ben, what was you saying then? You were going to say about a player?
Yeah, he's saying at least a player we don't give a fuck about. It says, yeah, Mellier. And I'm a massive believer in if we'd have dropped him in the second season of the Premier League, we would have stayed up because he was just a hologram.
Yeah, I don't think
that's a mighty big statement, man. I wouldn't put
we
that.
We wouldn't have conceded half as many goals. Look, that keeper's shocking.
Yeah,
shocking.
Yeah, thinking of the the right back Everton who put it in for the
Baines.
Well, they put it on from what is it, row P or something in the stand, wasn't he? Basically, yeah.
Bad goalkeeper, bad.
Hey ho, he won't play again for Leeds. He'll be gone. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
That sucks. We had such high hopes for Miss Leslie.
Yeah,
Tom?
Yeah, we did.
No, I was just going to mouth off about Mellier or whatever after the fact.
Please.
Because basically, no. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm obviously in the camp of basically, I was going to defend my team's goalkeeper because I felt like he was never going to get dropped. So it wasted energy to sit and fucking slag him off on a weekly basis. Genuine wasted energy because I sat there thinking, if he ain't put Carl Darlow in by the whole game, he ain't putting him in. And I don't think that was an unfair belief.
I don't know, man.
Totally agree. Totally agree with you, Tom.
I would take Mellier. I would. I'd take him over. I would take him over Saw.
I'll go.
I think Saw's a terrible keeper. He can't
play championship football next season.
His distribution is terrible. His positioning in the net.
What do you see in Mellier's distribution?
Terrible.
What do you see in Mellier's distribution? Right?
I don't.
Anything better than Sars?
I don't, because I don't know.
I just going on what
I honestly think that Meslier would benefit for a change of scenery
Yeah.
To me, it is
He
obvious
would.
he does
He
not
would.
want to play for Leeds anymore. And why not? Give him that opportunity and
But he
have
also
him
needs to be
prove
humble.
either who he is or who he can be.
He needs to be humble, right, and accept that he's a League Two goalkeeper and go help Accrington out.
Ooh, I don't know if he's that bad.
I
think he
don't. I
has
don't know. I don't know where you keep saying this, but none of the Leeds guys have said this, Mark. But you've said it a few times that he doesn't want to be there anymore.
I don't think he does.
I
His
don't
play shows
get
it.
that at all. I think his play is just he's just not that good.
Hey,
Look,
let's
he's
see
earned
what,
his spot in the team
let's
right
see
now.
what he does the next team he's on. If he ends up going somewhere that he wants to be. To me, I don't think he wants to play for Leeds.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think he's very lucky to be playing for Leeds.
Yeah. I think so.
Like,
Very much.
and
so.
if it was an attitude thing like that, I feel like he would have been benched sooner, because you can put up with little mistakes, but if you have little mistakes and then you're in the locker room being a bitch about everything, that's when it's like, fuck off. That's like when Szczesny finally got done with Arsenal, when he was like smoking cigarettes in the locker room, like he just didn't care anymore. And it was like, look, you can't be making these mistakes and then come being a bitch in the locker room talking about how we suck and smoking cigarettes when, like, you let in a goal too. Like, yeah, we suck, but you suck right now too.
Yeah,
Just to make it about Arsenal.
You know, I want to know, like, there was a time where Leeds fans were singing the praises of Meslier, and that was the year that Leeds, if I'm not mistaken, that was the year that Leeds finished 9th. It was like 4 years ago. Leeds finished 9th. The following year, they dropped to 17th.
Yeah.
What was the difference? I mean, what happened? You know, obviously that year that you guys finished 17th, it was more injuries than anything else. You know, I think that was the year that that Rafinha was injured. Calvin Phillips was injured that year. So where's the difference when, you know, or what happened to Meslier from when you were singing his praises when you finished 9th, and suddenly he's shit when you're about to be, when you're still in a position to be promoted, with or without him.
I've never, ever sung that guy's praises ever. So
sorry, Ben, we're gonna need a ding, ding, ding before you
ding, ding, ding.
Before you chime. Okay, Ben.
Don't tie me with that.
500 points for Ben there.
I didn't necessarily say that you sang his praises.
No,
but
well, I was just butting out of that one.
You know, I was
just making sure that Leeds fans
I
in general
follow
know
quite a few Leeds chat rooms, and you know, back then you guys were, you know, Leeds fans were singing the praises of Meslier. Why, you know, just
well, I think Mark is basing this off of the fact. Mark is basing this off of the fact that we did a video.
It's bad.
We did a video back in the day where we were calling him Miss Leslie, or however you pronounce his name. And in the comments, it was like, you better respect him. It's pronounced like this.
Destroyed. Don't call him Miss Leslie. Don't call him Miss Leslie.
Leeds fans are fucking weird and territorial over bollocks.
It's like y'all can make fun of him and be mad at him, but as soon as a Wolves and an Arsenal fan start saying something, it's like, you leave him alone.
Yeah,
he's our piece of shit.
He's our piece of shit.
He's our piece of shit, keeper, not
yours.
You're
your own piece of shit.
I mean, Leeds goalkeeping in general has been such a low standard since Nigel Martin in, what would it be, up to 2003. So from then on, basically really ropey.
We had Kasper Schmeichel for a season before he was decent, but
before he became a twat.
Yeah, but his dad was always a cunt.
Didn't he?
Yeah. So when you go, why was Meslier put in the first place? It was because it will either pick him or no one, because the guy is replacing the dirty racist.
Well, and also he dropped clangers as well all the time, wasn't he? Kiko Casillas
No.
he was a
Oh,
liability.
absolutely.
Every keeper drops a clanger or 2 or 3. It's just Melier dropped 12 or 13 or 14, and it's just like, all right.
Saying that,
Look, I wish
what
him
might-
well wherever he goes.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I wish him well. I don't dislike the guy as a person. I just dislike him as a goalkeeper for my football team.
I think he came in with 9 games to go, didn't he, when he took over Kiko Casillas, and
Yeah.
he played well. He had the debut against Arsenal, and
Yeah,
he
that was a
good in
great
that.
debut.
And then
That was.
and then in the first season up there, he made some really good saves and things like that. The defense was playing better. Weren't playing in
Look, he
front of
has won us
Weren't playing
points.
in
He
front of
has.
crowds, which is probably a big thing as well. And then
He won us points
this,
against Leicester last season. Let's be honest. He has won us points, but he's
now and
cost us
then, but
more
he
than he's
does more
won us.
clangers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's I think
So
is
good
the
luck at
second
Wolves,
season in
Ivan.
the Premier he went
Good
to
luck at
shit
Wolves.
because the defence was shit, and in the third season it was just more of the same. And he's not recovered from it. And you're quite right; he probably could do with a move somewhere else. I don't know that he wants to go or didn't want to go somewhere else, because if he had wanted that, he would have got the move. Because if a player really wants to go, they'll go.
Well,
They'll
yeah,
kick
that's
up.
it. And
They'll engineer
he's
a
got at
move.
least a year of Premier League money if he wants it, do you know? And then goes
Thank
where
you,
he wants
Deborah.
and gets what he wants.
I think you're
It wouldn't
finally
surprise
coming
me.
around.
I think they'll sell him. I think he'll be ready to go and he'll get sold.
Mr. Tom, has there ever been in the history of football a keeper who sort of fell out of favor as a keeper, and then they moved him to like center back, right back, midfield, striker, something like that? Has that ever happened?
It wouldn't happen nowadays.
There was one in the 90s. There was.
Yeah, it
Keeper
would
ended
have
up
happened,
up front. Was it Blackburn Rovers?
like, David James played up front for Manchester City in like 2006.
Well, I'll find you out now. There was one.
You did.
I could
You're
be
right.
wrong, but
That's
it
interesting.
sounds
Well,
like
I know
something
with all the
that
talk of like Ederson for Man City, who hasn't been as good as he has been in the past, but Pep loves him for, like, Pep says he's their best penalty taker. He's like just the amount of passes and shit that he makes
Well-
from the box. Like, if you imagine him as a right back or a left back, he'd probably be pretty good if he wasn't just
I've got a list
lazy
here of
bastard.
strikers that used to be keepers.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
We've got Harry
Lolo.
Kane,
No.
Danny Alves, John O'Shea,
No.
George Campos,
What?
Kyle Walker, and Pele.
Ex-Arsenal. Ex-Arsenal. Am I
What?
getting warm?
What are you talking about?
You said keeper that became a striker or a goal scorer or moving out of the box and playing. I see
What
where
am I
you're
doing?
going.
What am I
You're
doing?
talking Lacazette.
Lacazette. He wasn't a keeper.
Lacazette used to be a keeper. Look it up.
Not for Arsenal.
Look, not
He's
for
like
Arsenal.
5 foot.
But
He's like 5
Lacazette
foot tall.
used to
He was
be a
probably a
keeper.
keeper in like under 8. Lacazette.
Who knows? Who knows?
Giroud. I know Giroud has gone into goal. But yeah.
There's players that have gone in goal. I mean,
Yeah.
in the old
Rooney
days,
went
we
in
never-
goal too.
Yeah, I mean, we had Vinnie Jones who went in goal. There's, plenty of players, outfield players who went in goal, because in those days you never had enough subs. So you had one sub on the bench, or
It's
you
kinda
didn't
like
have a
when a-
goalkeeper on the bench.
When a baseball team is getting blown out, they throw an outfielder into pitch,
Yeah.
right? Something like
They're on
that.
their 13th pitcher. The second baseman is throwing now. He's just throwing batting practice. Yeah.
Knuckleballs. I
Sometimes
forget who was there was one guy that came in and he just threw knuckleballs the whole time, and like he struck out a bunch of people, which was pretty funny.
You love that talk on the mound when they go up and the second baseman comes up and they're like, "Hey, you were throwing some knuckleballs earlier. You want to do that?" He's like, Okay, who's going to play second base? But that's baseball. Anyway, guys, we are halfway through with the show here. It is about halftime, and I can feel our foreign correspondents are starting to fall asleep at 1 a.m. on a. Is it 1 a.m.? Did the time change?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going to have a quick intermission where we are going to replenish our drinks, smoke them if you got them, go to the toilet, anything you need to do, and then we will be back with Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom. Hopefully, Mr.
You
Tom
won't
sticks
be,
around
because
for
I'm
that.
going to bed. I'm going to bed. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Much love, Mr. Tom. Thank you for joining us. So we will be back in just a few minutes. So why don't you go ahead and enjoy some of these classic kits from the Arsenal bar as we take our little break. We'll be right back. It's your boy Lolo, and I am out here at Fancy Free in Brooklyn. We are doing classic kits. You got a Righty, you got a Bergkamp, you got a Tony Adams, you got Thierry Henry, Bruised Banana. We're talking all of them. Let's go. And now, you know, we couldn't do a classic Arsenal kids without the O2. Without the Invincibles here. Tucked in properly because you had to keep this one tucked in.
It's definitely my coolest kit. My family's been an Arsenal fan for a while, since the 90s. We're French, hence the Pires on the back. It's definitely my coolest kit out of all of them.
So Pires is your favorite player then?
No, actually. It's hard to find a Patrick Vieira shirt. Patrick Vieira is my favorite player from this era. So yeah, as long as it's French on the back.
Yeah,
for my family.
You go. Oh my God, I just found one of my favorite classics. It's Sophia wearing the Sega. What's going on, Sophia?
This is a classic. We know. This is the one that we wore when we won the league at Old Trafford in 2001. It's a classic. What can I say?
You got a favorite player from that era?
Yes, of course, Henri.
TT.
The best.
Well, there you
the best
go.
of all time.
My boy Austin right here has the marble. Why do you love this kid?
You know, this is my favorite kit of the past 5-10 years. I just love that you've got that clean look. You've got some history behind it. It's way better than any of just the all-white ones.
The all-white ones? No. Who's the player that you remember from this kit?
Saka's always great in every kit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be who it is.
And he was just coming. He was just starting to
he was
break
starting
through.
to get his greatness. This kit for me though, this is all about those empty stadium years.
Oh man.
It's 2021. That's what I remember about this. You're pulling the history of Highbury.
Exactly.
You're pulling all the greatness of the community coming together after everything.
Exactly.
And it's a great kit, great memories in it.
I just found a beauty for you. We got the Fabregas on there. This was what, like
2009. This was the first kit I ever got. So my mom went to London and I asked her like, hey, can I get a football kit? Not really specifying the team either. So like, that could have been very dangerous. I might be at a Chelsea bar or God forbid a fucking Spurs bar. Sorry, can I swear?
That's not a swear. If you say
Spurs,
it
sorry.
in front of Tottenham, it's usually fucking Tottenham.
So she brought back the shirt. I know he left. I know he did play for Chelsea, but Cesc Fabregas was one of my favorite players growing up. It was the first time I was ever like heartbroken that a player for Arsenal left. I can't think of many players that are like Fabregas.
And he started as such a young player with us. It was like
he transcends like the sport in some ways.
Exactly.
I think.
There had to be more JVC in the house. Tell me about this kit. Why did you choose this kit?
It's just such a classic, right? The design is iconic, the colorway is iconic, and the players associated with this. Bergkamp, Ian Wright from that era, just absolutely top class in my opinion.
But do you think Bergkamp gets enough love?
To be honest, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't think he gets enough love.
I don't.
Everyone talks about like De Bruyne and Ozil and all these other classic.
Or even Tony Adams and
Tony
Vieira.
Adams, yeah, all these other classic Premier League players, classic attacking midfielders. Bergkamp changed the club, changed the standard of player in the league at the time. He's a legend in my opinion. He needs a lot more respect.
Absolutely, and especially because if you ask players like Righty,
who their best player, who they love playing with?
Who was the most important to Arsenal?
It's Bergkamp. It's Dennis, you know?
A number 10.
The Puma years were tough years, but they were the years I lived in London. I lived in London 2013 to 18. I used to go to the Emirates a lot, had the season ticket for a bit. And Aaron Ramsey was always one of my favorite players from those teams. And this was from the 17-18 season. 17-18 was my last year in London. When I was in the office to resign from my job my last year when I was moving back, I was sitting in that office and I got the message that Arsene had stepped down. So 17 and 18, it was a time of change, but it's time that I look back on with nostalgia. So,
You know, Puma wasn't our best years,
wasn't our
but
best
I don't know
years,
if that
but
was Puma's fault.
those were some of my years as a fan.
I'm not sure if that was Puma's fault or Arsene Wenger was kind of going down at the time. Anyway, love for Aaron Ramsey. Absolutely love Aaron Ramsey.
What a player.
Yep. We got Tay here. Tay, what's up? Why did you choose this one on Classic Kick Sunday?
Yeah, super simple. Love the yellow. The JVC is always a classic, so anytime you can pop out in the JVC, it's a statement. More personally, I think this
Another
is
one right behind you.
88.
Oh.
There we go, JVC. More personally, this is 88 to 90. I was born in 89, so it was a no-brainer. I had to have this one. It looks great. And
Yeah, but who's been your favorite player since being an Arsenal fan?
I mean, obviously TT, we love him, but also have a soft spot for Theo Walcott, who actually today happens to be his birthday. Happy birthday, Theo. We love you. We miss you. Come on, you Gooners.
I'm still mad at him, though.
I mean,
You know, he scored those goals when we were going for his last goals. It's all right. You got to show love for him.
We still got to show love for Theo.
All right.
All right. And we're back from halftime. I hope you all enjoyed your little break there and enjoyed our little video with the great camera work of Mr. Mark there behind the scenes at the Arsenal bar, keeping his mouth shut.
A lot of fun that day, I gotta say. You know,
I have a question. All of the jerseys, were they just, you could buy them there or what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't actually believe you dissed the all-white kits, man. The all-white kits are the best kits you've ever had. You were styling yourself off the Great Leeds United.
I don't think we've won.
War for charity.
I don't think we've won wearing them.
And those all-white kits are terrible.
And the whole thing
I put it
around
up there
it
with the pink ones.
Look, we don't run around in orange pretending it's gold.
The whole thing around those kits is it's like the it's a kit against knife crime in the UK.
But
white on white
in London, that serves a purpose.
Yeah, and they don't sell those. Like they didn't sell those until a year after they wore them, but they like weren't. You couldn't get them. Now you can get them, but I'm like, I don't know. It's I don't like them because we don't win in them. So that's what I don't like.
I did ask Scooby D2. Your question is what were they new? I did ask, and someone said that they were new old. They were all brand new jerseys. Now maybe somebody else had a different. I didn't see that they were used.
No, they weren't used. They were new. They were
new old.
They're not new prints. They're the actual old kits.
Right, the new old.
Yeah, but they're not like new releases of the old kits, I don't believe.
No, they're not retro.
And then they had a bunch of the like random jackets and shit that were only like released one time, things like that. It's a cool company, and they have a whole warehouse with every team. So
I've seen it on the internet. The warehouse, they've got a massive range of worldwide kits that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
they did a thing. I think there's a thing on YouTube. Somebody else one of the pro footballers went around their warehouse as well, and it's massive. Absolutely massive.
Yeah,
kits that they've got.
I'm not sure if it's the same company, but I've seen a video with like Ian Wright going through a warehouse like that, and they're just showing him all the old Arsenal jerseys, and he's like, "Oh man, this one, when this happened," like, and just hearing him tell stories of those kids, it's not like us going like, "Oh, that's the first one I ever bought." It's like, no, I scored a goal at this moment from this pass, this, like.
The story's equally as fascinating from the fan, though, because the fan's perspectives, it's unique, and every fan's memory of a shirt is different. Yeah. Whereas everyone remembers the footballer's memory of the shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the name of the company that was?
You had to do that, didn't you, Mark? I'm sitting here racking my brain trying to remember the exact name of the company.
Was it Saturday's football?
No. They got mad that you said that. You were like, "Oh, are you guys like Saturday whatever football?" Because that's a company in town that does classic.
No,
kits.
I know them.
I think this is classic football shirts, and the one that was there was classic football shirts NYC or something. Because they were like, "Hey, when you tag us online, like classic football shirts has tons of followers, but we need followers. Tag us NYC." So it's the same company, just the New York branch. So clearly, it's bigger. Anyway. Guys, let's get to some betting because I haven't done much football betting over the past few weeks. I was in France for a little bit and couldn't bet on some matches. So let's get to betting in the dark with.
Can I just be excused because I'm gonna say goodnight because I'm off to bed because it's getting late and I'm a bit tired. So I'm going to bow out a little bit more gracefully.
No problem.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, Ben.
Hey, you know what? We can bow out any way we need to.
No, I'm not. Look. I love Tom. Tom knows I love Tom. Tom's tired. I get Tom's frustration sometimes. It's all good. Look, we're all friends. But I'm just gonna say goodnight this way.
All right, Ben. Thanks for coming on the show. It's great seeing you.
And you. Take care. Good night, David. Good night.
Give my love to your betrothed.
Say good night, Gracie. Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Grandpa.
All right. So let's get to betting in the dark without Mr. Tom.
Betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Come on, love. Place your bets.
All right. This is Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom, and this is where we ask Mr. Tom to find us the craziest bets that he can find, the builders, the parlays, accumulators, whatever you call them, that will turn $1 or £1 or $1.29 into hundreds of dollars or pounds, which means these are not good bets. Please do not place these bets. Do not put your life savings down on these bets. This includes you, Junior Firpo. You will not become 100-air like Mark did that one time, and now he's broke. All right?
I think I was broke the next day.
That being said, and it's sponsored by Murder Gun, and Ben just ran off to be in this photo. That's where he went. He had to go get his photo taken for the Murder Gun sponsorship. So let's get to it. All right. Mark, you want to do this one?
All right. So we have the mighty matchup of someone who's near the top, Chelsea, who sits very close to Najee's heart, versus relegation-bound Ipswich. Tom has Ipswich beating Chelsea 2-1 at Stamford Bridge, with D-Lap scoring first, so Chelsea coming from behind, and Omari Hutchinson to score. A single pound will net you 250.59. The conversion rate 227.34. The one thing that comes to mind reading this bet: who the hell is Omari Hutchinson?
Mark, that was that was the one that I'm going. Yeah, Omari Hutchinson is definitely scoring tomorrow. Omari Hutchinson, I believe he might have even been at Chelsea for a little bit, but he was at Arsenal for a bit. He's a good player. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't he wouldn't start for a big six club, but like he would be a very good. I don't know if he was like on Everton or something, maybe West Ham. He's a good little player.
Pretty much anybody would be used to West Ham. West Ham can't really score much. They're almost as bad
trying
as
to get Lawrence to call back in.
Almost as bad as Leicester.
I'd want to go. I think I'd be interested in him next season.
Yeah, he would be great for Leeds United. Yeah, great,
good player.
He's a little playmaker, but he also he does his job. He does the work. So he's not like showing off all the time. it's tough. It's tough on those teams like that.
Yeah.
You know, there was a quick sidebar here. There was a question. You know, it's like
Thank you, BX. Did you see that,
Ipswich
Mark?
is relegated. Yes, I saw that. Thank you, BX.
Yeah, I thought he went to Chelsea, so he's definitely scoring.
Ipswich getting relegated, or might more than likely getting relegated. D-Lap is probably not going to be with the squad next season. Where does he go? What is he worth? I'm kind of torn on this guy, because what we have here is we have, you know, there's no doubt what D-Lap does. It's extraordinary for Ipswich, but what happens when he's on like a much better team, where you know he isn't the cream that rises to the top? You know, I you know, people are, you know, Wolves fans are like, oh, I'd take a flyer on him. It's like, would you?
Mark, let me put it this way.
Better than Strand Larson?
Let me put it this way, Mark. I feel that Liam Delap, had Nottingham Forest not gone for Chris Wood and gone for Liam Delap could possibly have as many goals as Chris Wood and be performing that same way because of who that team is and the way they play with him. Liam Delap is that style of striker where, like, he's big, he runs his ass off, but he can put the ball in the back of the net. But if you put him on Chelsea, Chelsea's not the right team. Sure. I even thought about him for Arsenal, but we just don't emphasize those strengths. Like, it's the reason we haven't had an out-and-out striker for so many years. We just don't. We're not.
All these things are fair enough, but my issue with what you just said is that you're comparing him to what Chris Wood has done. Chris Wood, this is not atypical Chris Wood this season. This is an extraordinary, out of the world. It's Patrick Bamford-esque. You know, when Patrick had
Mark, I'm
20 some odd goals with
I'm using Chris Wood to compare for you. I think he's like as good as Chris Wood.
But
that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm getting at is that,
and he's younger.
That this is not, yes, definitely. But this isn't like a normal season for Chris Wood. If you compared him to the mean of Chris Wood.
Yes, but Mark, you asked what happens if he goes on a different team. That's what I'm telling you. If he goes on a team like Nottingham Forest, he will do very well, a la Chris Wood. But where was Chris Wood before? He was with Burnley, right?
Yeah.
They don't emphasize a striker. They emphasize not letting goals in. And Chris Wood was fucking mediocre.
The very lovely Sean Dyche.
Liam Delap is doing well right now. That Ipswich is not doing well because they're going, fuck it, let's get some goals. And so he's getting some opportunities here. But could he be really good on Wolves? Yeah, possibly. Wolves is a type of team. But there's a lot of teams, like, he's not going to go to Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, maybe Man United, because they have zero identity. And they could rebuild around him.
They just need a complete fucking tear down.
And
Ryan G out there.
Starting point.
Ryan G says he's out walking the dog on a Saturday night. I know what that means. I know when you're walking the dog.
He said pissed up walking the dog too. So the dog is only there to keep you going straight. Sorry.
You got to remember Delap's still a young lad as well, though. He's got a lot of potential.
Is he?
He will be a player. He will end up at one of the big clubs eventually.
Yeah, but it'll have to be a club that works with a striker like that, because he is I really do love his work rate. Yeah. And remember, he comes from stock, right? Like, his dad was a Premier League player. Like, he has people around
Rory
him
Delap was he was okay. He had a good throw. He had a good throw on him, but absolutely, yeah. He comes from a footballing family.
Where,
But,
like, his dad will clearly tell him,
yeah,
you could stay with Ipswich the rest of your life and never go back to the Prem, or you can do this for one. Like I just feel like a lot of kids out there, who knows who's telling them what to do, and we got to remember these are all kids.
Yeah, I think you'll find Liam Delap's will be a far better player than his father ever was.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know.
Well, good. Let's
Good
see the
player.
next one, John. David, you want to do this one?
Go on then. What we got here? Well, we have got the Wolves against that team that we don't mention if you're an Arsenal fan, the Spuds,
the Spurts,
and we have the game to be a Desmond Tutu with Jurgen Strand Larsen to score first.
Oh, Cunha to
and the player that Mark would like to offload also to score.
And
for a £1
sorry, man. My bet here is that Cunha doesn't even play.
Well, good. Place the bet, and it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's right.
It doesn't. The problem is
get
if he
this
comes off the bench for even 1 minute, then it's active.
Right.
So,
that £1 bet will potential returns of £128.82. The conversion of which is $168.32. 2-2. What do you think, Mark? What do you think, 2-2?
If I was to go for a draw, I think it would be 1-1. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't watched much of Spurs late in the season. I watched them early on. I thought that they were quality when they were healthy. They're not healthy, and when they are, they're not quality anymore.
They're Spursy.
I'm just they're Spursy, sure. I tend to not use that term because I haven't been and for this I will bring it up. I haven't watched football long enough to understand the history of that. But it's coming into view.
When they're being Spursy.
But
Spursy,
I don't know.
Spursy is like
sure, but I don't like the origin of it because honestly,
yeah.
But Arsenal the last 2 years are also a bit Spursy.
Good one.
Last year and the year before.
No, don't call us Spursy. You can say we bottled it, sure, but don't call us Spursy.
But isn't that the same? Isn't that the same?
And maybe you're right to not use it. Maybe you're right.
Folks in the comments and David and Lolo here, explain to me the difference between bottling it and being Spursy, other than you're Tottenham.
Doing what? Did you say?
What's the difference between bottling it and being Spursy? It's the same thing outside of it being the Spurs.
It's a bit like, Leeds being Leeds.
Yeah. It's just a
one of
catch-all.
those, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a catch-all for anything they do wrong.
Spursy is them going 2 up and then Wolves coming back to draw the game 2-2 in the last
to be honest,
15 minutes.
I could see that. I could see Wolves doing that.
So you could say they bottled the lead. They bottled the lead, but it's better to say they're just being Spursy because bottled would mean everyone thought they were going to actually win. But Spursy is being 2-0 up, and the entire fan base knowing for a fact that it's going to end 2-2.
Right. All right. So
it's a Spursy mindset.
I'm just going to throw this out there really quick. Stan the man, I see you're here. You can see the StreamYard link posted in the comments. If you could come on and explain to me the difference between bottling something or bottling the league or bottling a match, and being Spursy, I would love to hear your point of view.
Well, you almost solved it right there, Mark, as well, because it's Spursy to not even get a chance to bottle the lead.
Fair enough.
They're never even close enough.
Fair enough.
Mark, no, I think you've made your point, and I appreciate your decision to not use that word, because you know what? You just proved to me it is a subtler, it's a delicate.
Stan says it's the same thing.
It is the same thing, more or less. However, I would never say that Arsenal are Spursy.
Yeah, you can't. No,
I would just say that they're chokers. But
that's like one of the if you say that we're being Spursy, that like hurts on so many levels. Like you don't need to go there. If we're friends,
I'm not that mean.
Yeah, call me stupid, ugly, talk about my mother, but like to call us Spursy is like
So I don't mention your mother, your wife, your kids.
There are things that are off limits.
Yeah.
There are things that are off limits, and David, I think you nailed.
You can
them
say
all.
it. You can say
it's
it.
Your wife.
It's
your wife. It's your mom, and it's your kids.
Yeah.
You don't talk about.
No. I said
I honestly believe that
those are
the
fair
only
game,
time
fellas.
I think the only
Keep
time
the
I put
Spursy
somebody
talk
in the
away
face
from me.
was because they talked about my wife, and I was like, no, this does not stand. Anyway,
once again, that's an IT crowd reference when he goes, "Say what you want about my mother, but don't you dare slag off my West Ham." He doesn't even know who West Ham is. He saw a ham in the corner.
I'm sorry, but I don't watch, like, I've never watched the IT crowd like religiously or anything like that.
Mark,
but every once in a while, I'll be like, I'm gonna
put a joint in an Uber and send it to your house.
I need to watch something. What am I gonna watch? I'll watch the IT crowd, and it is. What few episodes I've seen, it is utter brilliance.
Brilliant.
The who's the character, the actor, he was on the baking show, the great British baking show. Noel,
the guy who plays
Noel Cowell. No, not Noel Cowell. Noel somebody other, but
Richmond. He plays Richmond.
Plays Richmond, and he's like locked in the closet, and then they let him out, and they're like, no.
And then he goes, it was a long time ago. And then he turns around.
When the boss is somebody, or the boss died, and he goes to the funeral, or somebody dies, he goes to the funeral, and he hands him like this death metal tape. Here, this will help.
Because he was a goth. He was a goth.
During your hard times, this will help you.
And then he creates Goth to Boss. He gets super successful because he creates Goth to Boss.
Yeah.
Anyway, stupid.
I haven't seen that one yet, but
Mark, we will continue talking IT crowd in the after party. Let's get to the third one. Third one: Newcastle versus Manchester United. Newcastle to win 5-0. Jacob Murphy to score first. Alexander Isak to score.
This must be the last match of the week. Tom stands by that it will. This is always.
It's the late game on Sunday.
It's the late game on Sunday. It's always the highest scoring match. And you know what, Tom? If you're still awake and you're listening to this, you are 99% right on
that. Let's see. Bring up the bet again, John, so I can take a snapshot. As crazy as this one sounds, it's not that inconceivable. Inconceivable. It's not that inconceivable.
Maybe Man U just to get one consolation. But could happen. Newcastle are riding the high, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. And I think they have like a very very beautiful attack. I could see them scoring 5, but it's a little high for me.
That's why it gets you the big bucks.
I'm going to place this one, I think I may just change it to Jacob Murphy to score because it'll only bring it down. You'll still probably make $200 off of it. Or
I would flip it. Isaac's my goal scorer.
Score first.
Murphy to score.
I just hate that when you've got a bet and you're like, okay, let's watch this game, and then straight away somebody scores from a corner, one of the center back scores, or an own goal or something. You're 5 minutes into the game and it's over. That's what Tom told me, to never bet the under corners. He's like, because then at a certain point in the game, you've lost. If you do under 7, under 10, and they have one of those series where they just keep heading it out. If there was 5 corners in 2 minutes.
I'm always of the ilk of over 7.5. That's my standard little. I want to tweak the bet up a little bit.
And what's your record?
It does quite well. 7.5 to me is that threshold. Over 7.5, it works pretty well. I know you're skeptical. There he is. There's the 100 air.
All right, so let's get to. Do we have the bonus bet? The Magic 3. No correct scores on here. We're going with a draw at Wolvie Spursy. Newcastle to win and Ipswich to win. That's not a bad one. It'll
this
£1
isn't bad
gets
at all.
$62.
This I would take.
That might. Ipswich to beat Chelsea. It's probably not going to happen.
No.
And I think Chelsea are at home.
You know what? I think Ipswich has more to fight for than Chelsea does. You have a team that's we're shooting for top 4. We're shooting to survive. And you can catch Chelsea not really. It's Ipswich. We don't care. We'll beat them. I could see the will to win on Ipswich's side.
Yeah, but I'm right there with you, Ryan. I just can't see Ipswich winning this game. Chelsea, as bad as they can be, they're still usually fairly strong.
I think your team put the nail in their coffin last week.
Yeah,
Tom.
Yeah,
Mark,
for sure. I agree as well. But I still think that they're going to fight and claw. To me,
for pride,
they will remind me of a team from last season, Luton Town. Very likable squad, very feisty. They had some not so lucky days. One that came in particular was against Arsenal. When stoppage time at the end of the match just kept going and going and going, and Arsenal had a little Arteta time. I see that Ipswich is kind of having that same kind of season where they're not as bad as they are, not as bad as their record, and they're gonna fight. They're not gonna lay down like Southampton. They're not gonna. Leicester's completely laying down. They had a little bit of a fight today, but I think it was more luck than anything else. But I could see Ipswich getting something here. I really could.
John, can you pop up the Premier League standings if you have that? Very quickly. Amazing, Director John. Let's see. So 32 points, 20 points. So 23, 32. So listen, they may be thinking that you guys are playing Tottenham, who, yes, are very close to you at the table, but realistically, Tottenham would be the favorites here. So they're thinking you guys will probably lose. So they can gain 3 points on you guys. So you're right. They may be up for it, Mark. They may not be so sullen. Do you guys play at the same time? I think.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah,
they'll be
it's all
playing
at
at the
9
same
o'clock.
time, hoping that you guys are losing to Tottenham and go in and shock Chelsea. So I just don't think it's gonna. Happen. Yeah, 13 points with the goal difference. Your goal difference is way better.
Yeah, they've got to get 4 points. 4 wins and a draw.
Yeah, I mean,
and you lose every game.
We've actually been playing fairly well since Pereira took over. I'm not hopeful because I don't see Pereira back with Wolves next season. I think he's with a different team. Who that is, I have no idea. I think if anything, I agree with Ryan Ryan here. I think the goal difference is far more important. But I was looking at it and I was just like, even myself, I kind of shit on the fact that we got Pereira and didn't get Potter or Moyes because our hiring was a few weeks before. But I mean, Pereira, as far as like how many points he's gotten since he's been brought on, is respectable. I think he's gotten. It's not a lot in terms of like the top squads or whatnot, but since he's been manager, he's gotten like 20 some odd points. And
it's not his team.
Our goal differential has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, it couldn't get much worse. But
well, Mark, we didn't talk about this either. And Ryan and Daniel are over in the comment section chatting away about this. Ryan is a Wolves fan, and Deborah, Wolves fan, talking with Daniel 90, who is a Tottenham fan. And here's something that you may not have even considered, Mark, is Tottenham. They have a Europa League or Europa Conference League. I forget which one they're in.
Yeah.
They have a match coming up, second leg, and they drew the first leg. So they were supposed to go in and win handedly, and they drew. So they are going now to the second leg on Wednesday, Europa League. Sorry to disrespect you. Not really. No. But Mark, so look, Daniel says he's taking out James Madison, Bergvall, Son, Solanke, Romero, Van de Ven, Johnson, and Spence. So that means you are playing a B team, Tottenham. So maybe Wolves can actually get some points here.
I would take the 1 point. 3 points. I think that. I think if we do beat Tottenham, I think I'll feel a bit. What's the word? Kalumph. I'm feeling kalumphy.
That's not the word.
Talks about yourselves.
Verklempt. I'm a little verklempt.
I'm a little
Talk
verklempt
amongst yourselves.
because
It's a topic.
I have to admit, last season we also were in this terrible position, and when I don't remember the match, but when it was said and done, we got the 3 points, and it was like we're safe. We're safe. I turned off my computer, and I just sat in the room, and I hate to say it, I got emotional. I started to verklempt, and it was weird. It was really weird because I've never.
I just want to keep David in the conversation. That's why I put this up.
Right, I'm listening.
Okay, I'll be real
No,
quick.
I put the leads table up. That's why.
And so I
love you, Dave.
I fully expect come tomorrow that if we do beat Tottenham, I do believe we're safe, and I do believe that I'm going to feel a bit verklempt. Because it's hard. I tell you, it's stressful. You know, I mean, you Arsenal fans never get to feel that.
What are you talking
If
about?
you ta-
We live in
and if you-
a full environment.
Are you stressed now, Mark?
Am I stressed?
Now about this season?
No. To be honest,
Not now.
I even last week when we played Ipswich, Ipswich scores first, and I'm like, nah, I'm not worried about this. Ipswich is known for giving up leads, giving up points. I'm not frightened. Let's just continue to play our game, and that's what we did, and we did what we should have. There he is. The omnipotent floating head of Mr. Tom. But I do feel that there's still this kind of weight that sits on my shoulders right now, because it's not for sure. There's like what, six matches left?
7, I think, isn't there?
For you guys, 7.
7,
Yeah,
but you're
seven,
expecting.
so seven matches.
You've got to lose
left.
every game. You've got to lose
Ipswich
every
has
game.
7 matches
Not gonna
left.
happen.
No, I mean, if Ipswich can pull a win and we draw, it just gets it. As you would say, it still feels nervy. It still feels nervy to me, and until the math is settled, I'm still gonna feel nervy.
Mark,
And like it,
Mark.
and very simply put, when we are clear, I'm gonna just like, it's just gonna be like this catharsis that I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna stare out my window, and I'm gonna shed tears because, oh fucking thank God, finally.
Pity Bandy not
Mark,
here to see
you,
Leeds
Mark,
come back in.
you want to go to the last game of the season playing at Brentford, and you need to win.
I don't want that.
That is when it gets nervy.
That's the problem.
I don't think I'd survive that, David.
Mark,
I
can you imagine
really
being a
don't.
Leeds United fan, the second season. Wait, what was it?
Second season.
It was decided on the
Second
last
season
match.
where you stayed up on the last match with
That's what I'm
all this
talking
other
about.
shit going.
Yeah,
like that. Oh man,
Rafinha and all that.
that's the feeling of being a football fan, man. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Mark, if we could put the table up one last time here, Mark, let's not forget there's 7 games left. That's 21 points. Yeah. So Ipswich could get to 41. Spurs could be relegated.
No. With 7, they would 21. Yeah, okay, 41.
Spurs could still get relegated. Tottenham could be relegated.
I think there's I would say there's a bigger chance of West Ham being relegated over Spurs.
Mark, if you guys beat them tomorrow, both you and West Ham, because West Ham are losing to Liverpool, both you and West Ham will be 2 points behind them. If they just don't win another match, and Ipswich win all of their matches, and you guys win all of your matches, it's a possibility. What's insane? That's insane. And to that effect, Man United could still be relegated. Like they aren't clear of relegation at their 32nd game of the season. That is insane. Insane.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I think, to me, I think the relegation battle is very cut and dry. I'm surprised that Wolves have kind of moved up the table a little bit. They are in pretty good form, but their schedule got soft. And could you imagine? Like I've always, not always, but I have wondered this season if the top and bottom opponents for Wolves, if it was a bit staggered, what would it look? What would Wolves' record look like? I mean, we started out with Arsenal, then I think we went to Liverpool, and we played Chelsea, and we played City. I mean, we had. I honestly believe our first 10 matches of the season.
You don't remember talking about that? Like the first half of the season, it was everybody in the top 10.
We had the most brutal.
Right. And Lolo kept saying, don't worry about it because you're going to
listen to that man. Yeah. Listen to that man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I mean, and there were other things that were involved. At that point, who was the guy that we sold in the
and it's still
window?
on the internet, so it has
Mario
to be true.
Lemina got sour on us. Cunha's gotten sour on us. It's been rough. But Scooby D2, he says, Mark, we may need a sitter for that Lolo.
Mario Lopez played.
Mario Lopez from Entertainment Tonight. He was a left winger.
Give the man respect. He was AC Slater, all right, and he's clearly a flaw.
That was not my generation, dude. I was at the clubs when that show came out.
I forget you are 48 years older than me.
No, but I am. At least high school older than you.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. AC Slater. Anyway, okay. What are we talking about? All right. Let's get we just came back from halftime and did Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom, and we now have 8 minutes left in the show. That was a long Betting in the Dark.
Tom would have been brilliant.
Proud.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, you could talk about the remaining matches because half of them have been played already.
None of those interest me. West Ham to get demolished by Liverpool.
Dead cert.
Yeah, I think we've talked about all these. Fulham Bournemouth, I'm only interested in watching because I do believe they are the same team. So it'll be interesting to just prove me wrong that there are actually 22 different people.
So could one team be mirrored? So,
I'm watching on TV, so anything's possible. It could be all AI at this point.
It'll be a mirrored image.
Pretty convincing stuff. Yeah, and they just throw a mirror up there, and it's like a parrot playing ping pong with a mirror. That's not a thing, is it?
A parrot playing ping pong with a mirror. I remember going to Wohops in Chinatown at like 3 a.m. They had like a little arcade, and there would be a chicken playing tic-tac-toe against you. And,
if only they had a parrot playing ping pong against a mirror. That's the name of my new band, by the way. We are parrot playing ping pong against the mirror.
There was nothing better than that chicken at 3 a.m. playing ping pong.
Would you pay to play against him?
It would be like it was like an arcade game, and it would be a chicken in a fucking big box, and I guess it was maybe computerized, and like a little peck of food would go down where the computer said he should pick. And so he would beat you all the freaking time. It was just, I don't know, one of those 1990 things where, it's 3 a.m. and go to Chinatown to get some food and just feed a chicken.
That sounds awesome. We should go tonight. We should go see if they're still there. Ryan G.
I was going to say, there's a good question there from Ryan.
Yeah, the same chicken.
And I was going to ask you on this, Lolo, your prediction for this week.
All
Or
right.
return
So
leg, rather.
Ryan G says,
return
"What
leg.
do you think you're through against Madrid? Beware of Papa Perez in the bar room, penalty and red card coming for Arsenal." Ryan, I do not think we're through at all. I think this is a true halftime. You know, when they say, "Oh, a two leg," you know, it's two 90-minute halves. Really, like a lot of times it isn't. But I feel like we're going in with a good, solid win, and it might be enough for Arteta to do something dumb and change the tactics, and try to outthink what's going on. If we go into it and just go in and play our match. Oh, I don't. The 8-ball's upstairs. If we go in and play our match the same way we win at it at home, a little aggressive, very pressing, and all we have to do is draw. All we have to do is not lose by 3. But I would say we should be going in to win the match. Just to play solid football and hopefully win the match. Very similar to the way we played against them at home. Because honestly, without those 2 free kicks, it could have ended a 0-0 draw.
Oh,
even though we should have had 6 fucking goals. Doesn't matter. Courtois can have a brilliant game, and he could have a brilliant game in a week. You have to get around that.
Right.
Yeah. So we got out of there with 3 goals. Awesome. Now, I know the Real Madrid shit that happens, and I saw in that game many, many things that went their way referee-wise. But as an Arsenal fan, you can't talk about that because they start going, "Oh, Arsenal." But I'm fucking sorry. But Chouameni, was it Chouameni? No,
It was
Camavinga.
Chouameni.
Or Chouameni?
It was Chouameni. I know what you're
He
talking
slid
about.
in to 2 tackles back to back that should have been fouls, if not yellow cards, and they weren't even called. They weren't even called fouls. Matter of fact, the tackle was so bad, the ball ends up going out of bounds, and then they stop play because our player is still injured on the ground, and then they get their throw-in or their free kick from somewhere else because it wasn't a foul. He eventually gets red carded from a yellow and then kicking the ball away, where it's like he's been making these challenges all game. No wonder he's frustrated because you finally started calling them. So Anyway, we are at the Bernabeu. We are playing in the Real Madrid Cup. I don't think a red card or a penalty is unlikely. I said that weird. I would not be surprised by a penalty and or a red card in this match, warranted or not. I don't want to be too complainy but you know, when you're like, "Oh, it was a foul. I guess you can give them a red card." But it may lean towards them. They may get a soft penalty in the first half. We'll see. So, but my prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in the second one, which puts us through. So.
Fantastic.
I'm not putting us through in my head. I still understand all the pitfalls, but my prediction.
I'm actually. I would like to dovetail on this a little bit, and I think.
Okay, I'm going to dovetail in the restroom. I'm listening.
No, you stay. God damn you, Lolo.
I'm listening. I'm listening, but I know you're going to rant for at least a minute.
I'll stutter for at least a minute. I see this match as an opportunity for Arsenal to kind of change a couple of narratives. One being is that Real Madrid has pretty much owned them over the years, and this is an opportunity to get that monkey off their back. But more important here, I think that there's been this narrative over the Arteta tenure that Arsenal has this tendency to be complacent. And I've watched Arsenal lose matches, drop points by being complacent. Says, "Oh, we've got a goal, we've got a couple of goals. Now we'll just sit back." Rather than keeping that foot on the or keeping that throttle engaged, keeping the foot on the gas. This is their opportunity to kind of walk away from that narrative and kind of create a rebirth of a narrative, because I think this is a very, very easy opportunity for Arsenal to go, oh, we have a 3-0 differential. All we have to do is not lose. And if they can achieve that, if Arsenal can, keep the boot on the neck of Real Madrid, they're going to be fine. But if they sit back and think that 3 goals is going to be enough, that's the same old story for Arsenal. They need to create this new narrative. They need to beat Real again at Real 3-0. They need to not just, be complacent and sit back. They need to show the fucking world that they're for real and they are different now than they were last year and the year before and the year before. Why? Because it's the only way that they're going to win. If they sit back and be complacent, Real Madrid is going to because Real can score 3, they can score 4, and they can prevent a team that has trouble scoring.
Arsenal could score 3 too. All they need to do is draw, or
I completely agree. But my point being is that this is an opportunity for Arsenal to change the narrative around.
Yeah, I got you.
Mark, I love it. I love it, and that is what I want. What I want is for us to go out and play the exact same match that we played, which meant, in the end, like, goals that we could have had and goals that they could have had, even if, let's say, give them 3 for their 3 opportunities that they had. If we got all the goals for all of ours, we would have had 6 or 7. So, cool. I'm fine with 7-3. Like, I'm fine with 6-3. I don't give a shit.
David.
And I think you're right, Mark. Let's go and change the narrative of what it means to be Arsenal. And what it means is we're not going to go sit down. We're going to go and show you that it wasn't a fluke that we beat you 3-0 at home. We're going to go to your house and smack you around for 2 or 3 as well. And you know what? Not let you score, because Real Madrid has still yet to score on Arsenal in the Champions League ever.
In so many words, you have mic dropped in half of what I had to say. I was more lengthening it out for you to come back from the bathroom to prove that.
Oh no, you weren't. You were your normal self.
I'm just hoping that Leeds gets promoted, Wolves stay up, so I only have to do 1 set of graphics for every fucking weekend.
That's a good thing.
Hey, I'm just glad that B-Boy Bill is no longer on Leeds to do that ridiculous fucking goal celebration.
Who?
B-Boy Bill, Luke Ayling. You do that little quasi flip.
I'm quite happy that Wolves are not going to get relegated this year.
Because that's 6 points.
Yeah.
Because we can spot you 6 points and you will get relegated?
No, not that. Just because if we hadn't got promoted, if we don't get promoted and you ended up coming down, then we'd have to have a championship show.
Oh, we would.
We
would, man.
We would. And the Arsenal bit would just have to be like a 5-minute slot, Lolo.
Right, exactly. And in other news, Arsenal dropped points against whatever.
But it's not going to be that. We're going to be in the Premier.
I do my intro and then be like, all right, and good night from me. I like to bring on my guests and leave for the night.
There is absolutely nothing more that I want than Leeds to not only not only be promoted, but to stay up. You know, I wanted for Leeds what Brentford got, what Fulham got. You know, Brentford. It's just been an
sorry.
amazing story. I mean, it was like what they. I mean, if you thought 16 years for Leeds to get promoted was a big thing, you know, what was it for Brentford? Like 76 fucking years.
Yeah.
And look at them. I mean, they're managing to stay up.
Bournemouth as well.
Yeah.
Bournemouth too.
So fantastic.
So there's something to be said of doing it the Nottingham Forest way, and if you get promoted,
you just have to buy everybody.
Illegally spend all you want.
Absolutely.
And then they're going to give you a 10-point deduction. Doesn't matter. You were like 7th place at that point, so 10 points.
You
whatever.
won't even get that though. You won't get that because precedence has already been set.
Right. Yeah, you're going to get 3 points, 7 points. So it's like spend the fucking money, break the law. But now Nottingham Forest is going to Europe.
Well, we admit to it. So now you've got to give us just.
Nottingham Forest is now in
3
Europe.
Points.
Right, but hold on. I want to ask this question. Given today's result, do you think Nottingham Forest is Europe bound, or do you think that the pressure is going to get to them?
No, they're fine. They're fine.
Well,
because
can you
Europe, Mark? Europe, we're talking like 8th place. But Europe is like 8th place.
Yeah, no, but we're talking Champions League, really, aren't we? That's what we mean. Is that what you mean?
Champions League.
Is that what you're talking about?
I do mean Champions League. I don't think Forest is Champions League material. I do think they go to Europe, which means another $10 million to the Wolves for Morgan Gibbs-White.
They've got 4 points on Chelsea because it's likely to be the top 5.
Chelsea
isn't it?
play tomorrow.
I think City definitely overtakes Forest, and I think
Chelsea are going to jump up, aren't they?
I think it's quite possible that Villa overtake both City and Forest as well. And
guys, believe it or not, but I believe that City can catch Arsenal at this point.
I think City. I think you're quite right there, Lolo.
I think so.
City are going to go on a good run now. They were terrific today. They started off awful.
Brino was so good. He's so good. Retiring, and I'll show you what you're going to miss. Or not retiring.
But like Arsenal taking their foot off the gas, focusing on Champions League.
Of course.
The further we
come
get
back
Champions
to
League, it's going to kill us. Like we're going to lose the Champions League and then end up like 4th and be like, this is our worst season in a few years. When like right now we're on such highs of talking, who would you like in the final? Shut the fuck up. If people
he's not there.
Or who you want in the
man,
semifinal.
Alan, shout out to you. Stop talking to me about a Barcelona Arsenal final. The Barcelona final.
I was thinking about that cat today. But...
No, like we can't even talk about that. No.
Yeah.
Next match.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, you could see in the return leg, 4-1 to Madrid, goes into extra time, and Madrid then goes score another 2. It doesn't even get to penalties.
It could easily go sideways.
Yeah.
So
my thing here is thinking about this timeline. Like it's about to split into 2 timelines of the Mikel Arteta history at Arsenal. Is he a hero or is he a villain? And it goes right here. It's right here and it's right now. If he goes on to win the Champions League, it doesn't matter what else he does. He is a hero in Arsenal history.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win the Champions League and we get dropped down to 3rd place, 4th place, something like that, like where you're still in the it is now like we're talking about there's a potential he gets replaced this summer.
Quite right, BX.
No, I disagree.
Won't happen.
I disagree.
It won't happen, but I'm just saying, like his story arc right now, he's either on the hero arc or the villain arc And
to be honest,
it
for
starts on
me, the
Tuesday.
only way Arteta goes into the villain arc is if he becomes manager of Spurs. That's the only way. He's already
I
a
mean,
club
not
legend.
villain. Okay, not
He's
villain,
already a
but
club
like
legend. He's already brought you guys from mid-table to Europe. Yes, there is a hill he has yet to climb, and his
Zanzi, you're
the time is running short for him to get to the top of that hill. You know, but I just, my whole thing is, man, despite injuries, you still play so well. You guys are so competitive.
Yeah.
You guys are able to win it out with scraps. And I'm sorry, he played magnificent today, but Kieran Tierney does not get minutes. You know, it just, you know, and this whole, like, you know, Arteta wants to play with a small squad has come back to bite him. It's the reason why they don't get to the top of the hill, but they're still there, and the club still loves playing with him. You know, I don't think Arteta. I don't see it. I don't see that he's in any danger. I don't see that he's a villain. I don't get the Arteta haters. Next year might be a different story because patience runs short and thin in the Premier League.
It's the difference of ending the season on an extreme high versus ending in another season on a disappointment. Now, finishing 5th, 6th, 7th, that's one type of disappointment. Finishing 2nd when you had the chance to win it, that's a different disappointment. Doing it again the next year, that's a different disappointment. Doing it yet again when the team that beat you falls off, oh my God, that's a different level.
Let me throw this out there really quick. What is the best result, or the best result in Champions League history for Arsenal? What's the best you guys ever done? You've never won.
Probably
You've never
PSV.
won. What year? Like, no, you, Arsenal. What's the best they've ever done in the Champions
final?
League?
Got to the final.
Being in the final.
Win.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. That is a long time to
But we're
wait.
nowhere near the final.
We're
nowhere near the final.
That's not my point. My point being is this is the closest you've come in a bit of a while.
Yeah, almost 20 years ago. Thank you, BX.
Okay, whatever it is.
No, we came this close last year. We came exactly this close last year, didn't we?
You lost in the round of 16 last year. And before that, it'd been many years before you even got into the knockout round. Now here's the thing: does that become the gauge for Arteta, where it's not where he sits with the Premier League? Does this buy him a different type of credit because he's having success?
No.
He's having some of the best success for Arsenal in the Champions League.
Can I rephrase it? Can I rephrase
Please,
that
because
question?
I'm an idiot.
Jesus Christ.
What is a good season for you this year, where you are at the moment?
And I do think it is the Champions League.
It's tough. A good season for us this year is winning the Champions League. I don't think getting to the final is good enough. I don't think getting to the semifinal is good enough. I think we should have won the league. So the fact that we didn't means the only thing that could make it a good season is us winning the Champions League. That's the only thing.
Okay.
My standards are higher.
Salud.
Excuse me.
Salud.
My standards are higher where I.
You know, he
my-
sneezes
my-
whenever he lies, right?
And when
Well, no,
when he
I would be lying
sneezes,
if I said
and
I
when he
would be happy
sneezes,
with.
Sancho comes.
No, I would be lying if I said I would be happy with us getting to the final. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, we got to the semifinals of Champions League or the quarterfinal of Champions League. You know, this is a good thing." To me, no. Like, no. Getting to the final would be awesome and would be a tiny bit of bragging rights. But if you're
It's the
asking
progression,
me
isn't it?
personally, yeah, the progression is great. But
Yeah.
for this to be a good season, this was a good season. No, I thought we were going to win the league. I thought we were going to fucking win the league. I thought we had it all there for us. And then City fell off. And yes, Liverpool have had a great season, but they haven't had a phenomenal. They're not Centurions, you know. They're not invincible. We could have had them.
But you
And we didn't. So,
Blanche.
so
You
it's a
didn't.
bad season. So it's a bad season unless we win the Champions League.
I think for Arsenal fans, that's almost every season. You guys expect to win. As you should.
Mark, we haven't.
As a squad.
We haven't expected to win. We haven't in so long. We haven't
I
in
can
so long.
talk to Matt Kantak, and he had literally said the words, "Yes, we expect to win every year."
Yeah. I mean, that's yes. We
Yes.
say yes. We should be the best.
I
And
guarantee
then
you, there is not
realize
a
you've got
Wolves
fucking
fan in the world that says
Lacazette.
we
Yeah.
expect to win every year.
Different levels.
Yeah.
However,
Different
realistically,
expectations.
2 seasons ago, I was thinking
should've
get
won.
into the Champions
You
League.
should
Get
have
into the
won
Champions
2 years
League. That
ago,
is a
and
good
you
season.
fucking bottled that.
No,
That
shut
was
up.
your year.
Shut up. 2 seasons ago was our
2
year.
seasons
Nobody
ago was your
expected
year.
us. Nobody
You guys
expected
were
us.
leading with 5 games to go, and you blew the 3 out of 5.
Mark, we're talking expectations. 2 seasons ago, my expectation was I need us to get in the Champions League. That is a good season. We surprised everybody, and we were top of the league for most of the season, and then we lost it. However, we got into the Champions League, and that was our goal. The next season, it went, we need to fucking win this, and we didn't.
Right.
Bad season. This year, we absolutely are going to win it. Bad season, unless we win the Champions League.
We shall see.
Mm.
The future is unwritten.
I think Deborah's right there.
Yeah,
Deborah
They haven't
is
got out of second
actually,
gear.
to be honest, they're coasting right now. They are coasting.
Liverpool have got into top gear probably a handful of times during the season. It's been quite comfortable for them. They're a very good side. Very good side.
Ryan, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but we were talking preseason, my expectations. So yes, I'm saying this is what I think we need for a good season. So this year, we need to win the league. So I could say, oh, look at all of the injuries that we've had. Look at all these crazy red cards. So my expectations are, let's get second place. No, I'm not going to fucking change my expectations like that. The same way it's not like, oh, we're leading most of the year and then we lose. Is it a bad season? No, nobody fucking expected us to even be there. It was a great season.
Those are your predictions in the beginning of the season.
This season.
Yeah. From
I
fourth
can't
to
even.
first.
I think I had Tottenham in the top 4.
You had Aston
I may have
Villa
even-
at 71, Chelsea at 85, Arsenal at 89, and Man City at 91.
Oh wow. I do remember saying something like it's Man City's to win until somebody proves me wrong, and then Arsenal took out Rodri and it was all over.
We didn't take out Rodri. Check the footage. That motherfucker took himself out. You check the footage. and check your mouth.
I'll
because
still stand. I will
ran.
I will
Rodri
die
ran
on
and
that
just
mountain.
fell.
Y'all took Rodri out.
Then go watch
You're
the
like,
fucking footage. It's on
Ballon
the
d'Or, fuck
internet,
you.
Mark. It's on the goddamn internet. Nobody
I
touches him
know.
and he
Come
falls
on. Come on. Don't be so
Fucking
testy.
bullshit.
The fact that you're so testy makes me think that there's a little bit of truth behind it.
No, it means that I'm so
Thank
tired
you,
of
David.
hearing that one
Thank you. I
fucking
see
thing
you.
from you.
I see you,
Yes,
baby.
stir in the pot.
I see you, baby.
Ryan G.
Get that big
And
wooden
Ryan
spoon.
G. I get what you're saying. I totally hear it. Yeah. We're on the same page. Yeah, we get that. Nobody touched that. Wait, who is he talking about? Who is this guy? Welcome, Red Skull.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Red Skull. We hope to see you again.
Anyway,
click that like button, become a member. Y'all do the things.
It's like, David, you're at the beginning of the season. What was your expectations for Leeds United?
To win it.
So if you finish second and you still go up, is it a good season?
A good season because we got promoted.
It's a good season, yeah.
It's a good season.
But it's not a
good. No,
it's below expectations.
No,
winning for me
is expectations.
For me, last year was failure.
Yeah.
We should have got promoted last year. So this year, especially with the problems that Sheffield United had when they dropped down, they basically didn't have a squad. Burnley had to get in quite a few players as well last minute because they got picked off a few of their players. And we were fairly well set. We lost Jorginho actually once the season started. But him aside, I expected us to win it. And even if we win it, I just feel that we've underperformed this year. So we shouldn't be in the position we're in at the moment. You know, this could have all been avoided with a few tweaks here and there back a while ago. And Mark, this is coming back to our conversation again. Dropping Melier after the whole game would have made the difference.
Sure. But I mean, you guys are 5 points up with
5 points up from third place.
4 to play,
not second place. That's my that's my problem. We're 5 points up from third place, not from second place.
Okay, fair. But top 2 get promoted.
Yeah.
The rest play in the playoffs. Outside of Bristol City? You play like you the teams you play outside of Bristol City are on the beach. You know, they're not going to get anywhere. You know,
they're never on the beach though. They're not on the beach though, Mark. This is the whole thing.
That's right. Wages in the Champions League or the Championship doesn't get you to the beach.
No. Look.
And every time they play Leeds United, they're on television, so they're being shopped out.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone plays Leeds United like it's a cup match. You know, or
look all the way down to Millwall on the table. Millwall have still got a chance of getting in the playoffs.
Sure,
they have still got a chance.
You play Oxford, Stoke, Plymouth, who's at the end of the table. I just don't see it. You are playing some absolute
teams that are fighting for their lives.
Teams that are fighting for their lives, yes. Yeah. But in the same
note, we should win these games.
You know, Leeds is also fighting. You know, they're fighting for promotion. And I would think and I would hope that the fight for promotion, the heart would be much stronger than the other way around. I don't know. I mean, it just
I don't disagree with what you're saying at all.
I don't see it as an issue. I do believe we will see Leeds in the Premier League, which will make me way happy because I get to watch them on not
I
like
don't
some
doubt
like
that.
sidebar the television or streaming service that may or may not carry them. I will get to see Leeds anytime I want, and that makes me very, very happy because I've always liked watching Leeds, and much like I have for Arsenal, I've only seen Arsenal and Leeds, play. I mean, I've been to their stadiums.
Even last week,
I had
You've watched
such
Tottenham
a good time.
play. You watched Tottenham play,
I
and you
had
watched
such
Villa
a good
play.
time. I had such a good time when we went to Ellen Road, and I so thankfully get to tell those stories. And not only that, but if you were to look at my screensaver,
How the hell are we going to look at your screen?
that's Ellen Road.
Yeah,
that is Ellen Road on my screensaver. That is how much I want Leeds to return to the Premier League.
Yeah. You're not the only one. I was in the supermarket. I'm down here, Brighton and Hove, and I'm in the supermarket the other day. I'm wearing a hood. I've just thrown a hoodie on. Didn't even realise it was my Leeds hoodie because it's like a training one, very plain. And guy's walking along, and he's like, "Oh, you're getting promoted this year. It's good to have you back in the Premier. We need Leeds in the Premier."
Yes.
Of course, I had to say, well, as long as the capitulation doesn't continue, we will be there, But last week I said at the end of the show that I still believe that we will get promoted.
Were you looking in a mirror when that conversation happened?
Might as well have been. But no, I mean, it is a general consensus. A lot of people want Leeds up there because they know Leeds is a big club, but also they like to hate Leeds. If there's that rivalry, there is still that dirty Leeds and all that sort of thing, But they've realised, Leeds bring something to the top flight,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
They'll want us back there unless we invest well and we get a good squad together, and then we start being successful, and then we just become like all the other clubs that everybody hates you.
Right.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. You keeping Fark, or you moving on?
Or you farking off?
Are you keeping Fark, or are you farking off?
I'm saying thank you very much. You've done very good for us.
Thank you for your service.
Here's a nice payoff.
Who do you want? Who would you get?
Oh, God, that's
obviously
so difficult.
Back, but
it's so difficult. I tell you, if you had the money, and you could get Bielsa back, I wouldn't say no. A manager, we were in for Iriola. They were trying to get him a few years ago, but it was too early for him. And he good manager, that sort of manager, someone like, it doesn't necessarily be him, but a manager of caliber. I just don't think I've seen so much of Fart that the shortcomings of him, and I just don't see the point of spending a lot of money on building a squad, a team for him, because I think he'll get outthought in the Premier. He got outthought last year in the Championship. He's been outthought a couple of times this year by opposing managers. So that's just my thought.
To be honest, when he was
think the same.
But when he was with Norwich, like the matches that he won were more Timu Pukki being brilliant for 2 seconds as opposed to him out coaching anybody. Um,
I'm not saying he's not a bad coach because he has brought some players on and everything. He's been known to do that. I do think maybe he was very lucky he did bring his players in, if you like, at Norwich. But also, there's an element of luck, especially with Buendia, who was probably the best
yeah.
player the Championship's seen in the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years. He's outstanding at that level. So I think he was quite fortunate. And of course, when he got up to the Premier, I know they didn't invest, they didn't back him, but he didn't change his style either. So,
Yeah.
it seems to be too many managers that could go up from the Championship and won't change their style. And you look at Vincent Company and Russell Martin. I mean, what is it with these managers that think they're? It's very egotistical, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Company, where it's like, dude, you haven't done anything. Somehow you got the Bayern Munich job. Like, relax. You're like, yeah, but we're gonna win the Bundesliga, and you're like, yeah, dude, Bayern
you're
Munich
at Bayern
probably
Munich,
win the Bundesliga without a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
I don't want to put Fart down completely. I think he's done a fairly decent job this year. I just think he could have been 7 or 8, maybe 9 points better off. That's all.
yeah, you could be pretty much
Home and dry already. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if your keeper would have caught a couple balls, you could be as well. So is that on the manager? Maybe.
No. Yeah, it is. Because he kept with him.
You kept him. Yeah, he kept him.
He
in the
kept
squad,
with him.
So.
And I understand why he kept with him to begin with. I mean, I never blame Melier for the goal at Sunderland, which to me was just a freak occurrence. But then there were other instances as well. I mean, we're talking lots because you don't see the games, Mark. This is where you don't really appreciate how poor he's been. And it just, I mean, I sent you we had this little chat, didn't we, on WhatsApp, and I sent you the sort of the stats which sort of showed how poor he had been with his save percentage and things like that, and but that's down to the manager. The whole game, 3 clangers cost us. We drew the game. At least we got a point, but that was the time when he needed to be dropped. He was dropped for one game, which was the cup game, then brought back in. And if there wasn't such an outrage this time, and I have no doubt whatsoever that behind closed doors, he was told, you are making a change.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that whatsoever. And I'll tell you why. 2 things. It suddenly got leaked to a journalist who reported that he had been offered a new keeper in January. That was no coincidence that suddenly came out that week. And the second thing was during the press conference when he spoke about making the change, he said about the decision making, I made the decision, and he dropped that in. His English is very good. It wasn't a mistake. He's done that sort of thing before previously when he's spoken about wanting players in, and he's dropped something in and then corrected himself. So I think there's a little bit of politics going on there, but I have no doubt that he maybe wasn't told you will make a change, but okay, this is the problem. So what is your solution going to be to changing this problem and rectifying it? And then if there's an impasse, I have no doubt about it. Had those forces not been brought upon him, I wonder if he would have stuck with Melier.
Might have. Might have.
Yeah, very stubborn.
This is why it's very important for everybody to watch the documentary series Ted Lasso. It's
I hear they're bringing that back.
Are they?
I read that they're going to bring back for a 4th season.
I only saw 2 seasons, I believe, but
3rd season.
But it is very interesting. It is very interesting that in that show, because they don't show any football, it's all the behind the scenes shit, and it's like a lot of that you got to think is like as crazy and as silly as it is in the show. You're like, this is kind of a lot of what it fucking is. Like, it's a bunch of children, being told what to do, running around, and there's these little, but he said this about me, and then like, I would like to bring on this player, but I can't bring on this player, but they told me to do this player, but this player's talking to a West African country that is not allowed to be. It's like all this other shit is going on that we don't know about as fans, and we just think the football, and that's why we don't get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, I've had some insight into football.
No, I do not.
At a half decent level. Okay, non-league level, but we're talking sort of higher non-league. I've sat in on a couple of boardroom meetings, and I've been there when the manager is getting questioned by the club owner.
Yeah.
And if it's happening at that level, trust me, it's happening at the top levels without a shadow of doubt. There's a weekly meeting every week, as there should be in a business, because that's what it is. It's a business.
Yeah.
And and also I've seen behind the scenes at a couple of professional clubs, because we had links with there and we got invited. So I've got a little bit of a knowledge, not a great knowledge, but I've got a little bit of an insight into things that do go on at clubs, and fans don't know half of what goes on.
No, and that's why thinking like, bringing in a manager like Bielsa, that's insane. It's insane. No, because he's not going to do whatever he's told by the owners, and the owners are going to get mad, and this is going to happen, and you can't bring in somebody who's just going to do whatever they want to make the football perfect. Because you know what? That doesn't work with financially. So
yeah, eventually it breaks down.
Yeah, it will break down eventually. At the first sign that the football isn't working, they can use that to get you out.
Yeah,
because you're not bringing in the money.
Yeah.
It's crazy, insane. Anyway, guys, we are way past overtime. We had 38 minutes of stoppage time today in the show. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to keep chatting, keep hanging out, talking to us in the background, click on that link that the Director John has just sent out with the StreamYard link there, and you can talk with us backstage for a little bit. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Am I going to be there? I'm not sure. Next week, we will be back with some more happy hour, but I hope you guys had a bunch of fun. I hope all your teams lose tomorrow. Well, I don't give a shit. I hope Liverpool loses tomorrow.
You want my team to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope Liverpool, Tottenham, and United all lose tomorrow. And Chelsea. All of you fuckers. But good night, everybody. Much love to you. Thank you, David, for staying up late all night, talking with us. Mark as well. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Director John, as well. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Cheers.